Hospital Port as Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order. Welcome to HPANWO TV. This is the 44th reply to comments video. The video in which I, as the title suggests, reply to your comments. The reason I reply to your comments on the comments reply video is because I don't really have time to by text. I don't have time to write out replies to every single comment I get. However, I do feel obliged to reply to your comments because you take a lot of time to write them, and a lot of thought goes into some of your comments. Some of them are very interesting, some of them are very long, and so I feel I should oblige, shouldn't I? I should have the courtesy to reply to you. And sometimes we get into very interesting conversations, you and I, don't we, viewers and myself. Now, my reply to comments videos are very long, so this is good. Probably someone new to the channel will ask this question. I only want to reply to one comment. I'm not going to watch a 9-hour video to get a reply just to one comment. Well, you don't have to. You see, it's true that my comments reply videos are very long. They're among the longest videos I've ever done. However, two answers to that. Firstly, they're getting shorter. My last one was about 4 hours. And that's because I do them more often. I'm trying to do them like about maybe once every 3 weeks, where I used to do them about once every 2 months at one point. Also, I put a timestamp in my template acknowledgement comment reply to yours. So whenever you make a comment and I reply to it, I put in this particular comment. Thank you for your comment. It'll be answered approximately within, and I give a timestamp, first, second, third, or fourth hour. That's fifth hour, etc. of the upcoming comments, reply to comments video. So that's what you will see underneath the comments. Thanks for your comment. It'll be answered approximately within first hour, second hour, third hour, etc. of the upcoming reply to comments video. So you don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to. You can just watch 1 hour. The longest you'll have to watch is 1 hour. And put it on while you're cooking the dinner or something. You know, you can, or listen to it. I mean, you don't have to look at my handsome face. Works perfectly well as an audio only, actually. These types of videos, I know some of my viewers actually, they download them, they cut the audio, and they just listen to that on MP3 on their earphones or in the car or something when they're driving. Another reason I do these comments reply videos is I enjoy doing them. I think it's great fun, and what's more, you viewers often enjoy doing them. It's always a sense of achievement whenever I finish one of these videos. I know some of you watch them all the way through. That's another reason. So, with that being said, let's begin already. So I'm going to go straight to reply to comments 43, Gary Robinson, who says, Pride and dignity, brother, pride and dignity. You too, Gary. You too, thank you very much. Same video, Willamism said, lol, Ben, I meant July, typo, though we'll be down in June, though. Yeah, we're discussing the Basis Project conference. It's still going ahead. Miles has put up some videos about that. In fact, he's even managed to find 10 more seats and had permission for 10 extra guests. Even the lockdown doesn't formally end until the 19th of July, and will it even end then? Basis Project Conference is not affected. The Awake and Aware Conference, incidentally, is. Kerry's moved it now to an evening event on the 22nd and 23rd, but I'm still speaking now. Okay, The Thinker. That's a good name. Oh, I remember you. I think you were on the live stream, weren't you? This is on UFO Disclosure 2021 UAP report leaks. As you know, we had the real thing yesterday, and I did a video about that. The Thinker says, hi, I just came across all your videos. We must all be super aware, awake and aware. Super aware and awake with double agendas playing out when they expose everything and anything. Yeah, I know, we must be. We must be on our guard, as I said in the video. Yeah, I think you must realise we can't just be naive. And at the same time, I don't want to become over cynical because we don't want to miss any opportunities. We must be aware and awake of the double agendas, yeah. Project Bluebeam needs to be researched as they plan this for us at some event. Holographic technology to induce even more fear with weapon technology. Please research all of this, keeping us trapped into this false New World Order system is their plan. Please watch all 5 hours to understand fully what's in store. All these ancient aliens and other programs are under one system alone, NWO, to prepare us for this technology of holographic tech. Please be aware, watch all of this. One of the best research documentaries of a recent insider. And there's a YouTube link here, which takes me to...
Well...
All right. Oh, this is X Factor winner reveals world's secret religion by Altian Childs. Right, this is from Will R. Jova is the name of the uploader. Right, you are. I will. It's on my list now. It's on my what's it called list. My history. So I'll check that out, Thinker. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining the channel. Much appreciated. Reply to comments 43. Oh, Hugo Rune. What do you mean by interdimensional? Oh my God, here we. I'm in trouble now. LWH of a length with height. Okay, of a three-dimensional object, a cube, for example. Where is the interdimensional? Is it inside the three we know of? I know you believe time is a dimension. You know I disagree. But where is the interdimension bit you talk about? Okay, time is a dimension of. Time is a dimension of itself. It's possible it has two dimensions, like in the film The Langoliers. It's a story by Stephen King. I made a video about that. It refers to the fact that there are. If you imagine the world we live in as a flat plane. I mean, in the book Flatland. Have you ever read the book Flatland by Edwin Abbott, Hugo? It's well worth reading if you get the chance. It's an old novel written in the 19th century, very, very explanatory of the whole concept. Then obviously there are things beyond that plane. The whole story is about a two-dimensional universe which is invaded by a three-dimensional object. And, indeed, the various theories such as string theory and supergravity and things like that lead towards the existence of those other worlds. I recommend there's a TV documentary called Parallel Universes. It's part of BBC Horizon. I mean, you know what I think of the BBC. However, this is worth watching. So what's happening with my bloody phone? I'm trying to charge my phone and it keeps going off. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Oh, bloody damn thing. All right. Excuse me a moment. Now, the thing about the different dimensions is, there's no proof they exist, and we can't see them. Obviously, I know that, but they're still there, according to the theories. Now, the theories have been proven right before. For example, Stephen Hawking predicted the exact frequency of the Big Bang radiation, and then Robert Wilson and Arno Penzias discovered it a few years later with a radio telescope, things like that. So, apart from that, I can't say any more, I think. I can't say. That's what I mean by interdimensional. Interdimensional means something for another universal plane, to use the Flatland analogy, outside the one we're in now, which is like above it or below it in the third dimension. That's what I mean. Oh, that makes sense. Jorge Rodriguez says on reply to comments 43, hello, Ben. Hello, how are you? Hi, Rodriguez, or Jorge. You've been doing this for a while, so who are the people you would like to interview? And for the replay comment, I don't care how long, they go for and thank you for what you're doing. I'm in Australia, but originally from Uruguay. All right, I think you turned up in the live stream, didn't you, Jorge? Oh, so you say, what people I'd like to interview? Well, I've interviewed plenty on HPANWO Radio, and I don't have guests so often on HPANWO TV, but probably Stephen Bassett is my favourite. Who would I like to? Funny enough, Steve Mumbling, obviously, which I'm going to at some point, I hope. Who else? Yeah, someone I disagree with a bit. I'd quite like to interview. I'll have to think about that. Maybe Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer, or David Icke. And we have a long thread now. Reply to comments 43. David Smith says, you never say why it's wrong that immigrants are coming here, though. You agree with whoever was commenting that it's wrong, but never say why. So why is it wrong exactly? Because it's basically it's putting too many people into a part of the world where they're not part of the native culture, which then displaces the existing culture. We've seen this has happened before in other countries, where for example, Look, for example, the Red Indians in North America. They were like a fraction of what they used to be because of European settlers. And that's why it's wrong. It is wrong to do that. And what's more, I think this has been done deliberately as a policy. Sonara's Ash Tree says here, because replacing the native population of any country is just wrong. Why is that so difficult for you to understand? You're getting a love heart for that, Sonara, yeah. Yes, I mean, that's basically it. Yes, it is immoral. I think it's a form of genocide, actually. And it's simple as that. David Smith, I say it's right there. Checkmate. Okay, well, David Smith, why do you think it's right then? David Splendid Isolation says, the native population built the land, the culture of the nation, going back many generations. Newcome have no skin in the game and care little about this. Our family should always come first, always. Oh, thank you, David. And I know it's true. I mean, expats tend to be like that. I mean, whichever the nation you're talking about. I mean, this applies to incomers to this country, Britain, where I live. But it also, to be honest, British people who live abroad act the same way. I know them. Those who've gone to live, for example, on the Mediterranean coast of Spain and France. I don't think they care really much about Spain. They don't care about the native Canadian culture. They'll learn the language basically to communicate, but they don't have any skin in the game of that nation in terms of its history, its culture, its heritage, its history. Going back many generations. You do. I think unless you're not Spanish, you can't really. So I'm not standing on a high pedestal saying Britons are the victims all the time. We're the victims and everyone else is oppressing us. No. British people can be just as bad when they go to live abroad. I think it's generally not a good idea for large numbers of people to do that. I mean, in my book, the Roswell trilogy, it's the last one, Roswell Redeemed, you'll know that there is a problem with a country in West Africa because in the post-disclosure world, they end up with too many immigrants, and that they don't like it, and they try to put a stop to it. David Smith says to Splendid Isolation. To David Splendid Isolation. What is inherently good about a culture or nation exactly? And what do you mean, built the land? Modern construction infrastructure is a mix of investment and technological advancement from many different nations and countries, with many different people contributing to it. And of course, everyone will put their family first, even immigrants, hence the immigration. What's inherently good about a culture or a nation exactly? It's not about good or bad, it's about something you belong to. It's about a people within a geographical location of which you can say is your home. You don't have to justify. You don't have to even say what's good or bad about it, because you could probably say good or bad things about every culture on Earth. You don't. It doesn't need justification. It just is there. It's who I am. It's where I come from. It's where I belong. I'm British. I will always be British, even if I spend the rest of my life living in God knows where, South Korea or somewhere. I will still be British. I'll always speak English as my first language. I might learn another language. For example, I can speak Welsh quite well. I used to speak Dutch, but I'm always going to be. Well, Welsh is actually indigenous nation. Welsh is an indigenous language anyway to Britain, and I only spoke Dutch because it's the language of my mother's family. But you talk about construction infrastructure as a mix of investment and technological advancement from different nations and countries. We're not. What is this? Is this like it's like Carillion or something? You miss the point when you say that. Talking about built. Built is not putting up buildings necessarily, although that's a part of it. I mean, there's some wonderful building constructions that British people have done, and some of them are still standing. Many of them are. You can say the same in other countries. Egypt, in particular, has a very obvious tradition in construction, and have built one of the most ambitious and robust constructions on Earth. That is the Great Pyramids. You can't say to Egyptians, right? You can't go to Egypt and say, you guys, like, you have nothing to do with those damn pyramids. Don't you know that there's a North American cartel building the new banking headquarters in downtown Cairo? So why are you proud of those pyramids? So I think you missed the point there. And yeah, of course, everyone does put their family first, but your family is a part of that too. I mean, families will stick together wherever they live. But they're part of a larger family, which is your culture, which is your nation. It's where you come from. It's where your ancestry is. It's where you can look at a grave and say, you know, that of your great-great-grandfather or something, and say, you know, they lived here too. And that is something important. Yet it's considered immoral to make that point in many ways today. Some of you are going to accuse me of racism just for saying that. Hamish Fisher, hello. This is on family sadness. Sorry to hear about your family troubles, mate. On the plus side, you have lots of people who respect and like you, and also those experiences make you stronger and more resilient, and probably made you the man you are today, and being able to do all the things you do. Chin up. As always, fuck the haters. All the best. Big love. Thank you. I can only give you one love heart, Hamish. I want to give you more. Thank you for that. UFO Disclosure 2021, The Skeptics React. Ben, another vid before the weekend, says DJ Vito. I was going through a prolific phase there, wasn't I? And I said, I know, always the unexpected with me, yeah. UFO Disclosure 2021, The Skeptics React. The Lone Gunman. Dear Ben, are you aware that Bob Lazar has a... he puts the word Bob Lazar in quotes for some reason, as if that's not his real name. Robert S. Lazar. S is for Scott. It's his real name. Bob Lazar has a conviction for running blackmail operations with prostitutes. Now, he offered to install a CCTV system at a brothel. That sounds very criminal, doesn't it? But in Nevada... brothels are actually legal. Prostitution is not against the law in Nevada. The problem, the issue he was facing was that the brothel actually was unlicensed. Not that it was a brothel, but it hadn't bought a license and therefore was not paying its dues, not paying tax and things like that. That was the issue that Bob Lazar was involved with. Funnily enough, Bob Lazar was told he would go to prison unless. Because he had to tell the truth when he was described his background, and he repeated his story about his education to the judge, knowing that could send him to jail. You know, Bob Lazar. I mean, he's a very interesting chap, you know, but he doesn't strike me as the kind of bloke who would handle prison very well. American prisons they're much tougher than British ones, and there's a lot more corruption and things like that. And some of the old inmates are not very nice to the others. You know, some of them. Well, there's a lot of sexual abuse that goes on in there. But he bravely stood there and repeated the same story he told everyone else about his education. That takes guts. So it's not as bad as it sounds, Lone Gunman. I know exactly what he did. I know about this situation with him. He has a criminal record. But, I mean, I say this to Charles Unleashed. You know, I'd like to be able to get over with this focus on individuals and stick with the factual element of the case. I'd much prefer that. Same video, Hachi. Ben, there is definitely a higher power these world leaders, priest kings, represent, and the power of it they succumb to in the privacy of their own temples. Yeah, it is what Rudolf Steiner called the Ahrimanic power, the Ahrimanic force. That is basically an evil force that is at work in our universe. And it's Satan. You call it Satan, Shaitan. I mean, there's all kinds of words for it. But I believe that the Illuminati worship that force. They are essentially an embodiment of the force. Some of them are literally walk-ins of demonic entities. Hachi carries on. Ben, when the apocalypse, revealing... Yeah, that's interesting. The word apocalypse actually means that. It means a revelation, an exposure, an unveiling. That's what it literally means. It's a Greek word. When the apocalypse happens, it might not be how we think, especially with spiritual entities. Brackets, Chris Everard. Ben, you knows KBS, love and respect. Oh, you're talking about the Kev Baker show, which I'm a regular on there. I've been on Chris Everard's show 3 times, I think. He's very interesting too. He did a very interesting series of documentaries on the Illuminati and other subjects, the paranormal, etc. But yeah, Everard, his books, I think his book Spirit World, his documentary, the Spirit World series, are there 2 or 3? I think there are 3 now. I'm not sure. They're very good anyway, because they talk about this sort of thing. Hachi says, again on the same video, Yeah, that's the Skeptics React video. Ben, the natives had Captain Cook when he pulled up on the Endeavour, as not from this earth. Unfortunately, they realised. He paid the ultimate price once the natives woke up. Lol, Ben, love and respect. Unfortunately, the world's not changed. Not yet, it hasn't, no. Now, Captain Cook, did they kill him? I can't remember. Captain, let's have a look. I know that people speak highly of Captain Cook. He was a explorer, but he was also a humanitarian. He ran his ship with... He was kind to his crew and things like that. Captain James Cook. Died by stab wound. All right. Let's see what it says about death. Yeah. Oh, there's a marker at the shoreline of Keelakaula Bay, near the spot where Captain Cook was slain. Shortly after leaving Hawaii, Resolution's foremast broke. The ship returned to Keelakaula Bay for repairs. Tensions rose and quarrels broke out between the Hawaiians and Europeans, including the theft of wood from a burial ground under Cook's orders. Well, he robbed a... Oh, if you're robbing a grave, what do you expect? Cook attempted to kidnap the King of Hawaii. Oh, God. On 14th of February 1779, Cook marched through the village to retrieve the king. Cook took the king by his own hand and led him away. One of the king's favourite wives, Kanekapele, and two chiefs approached the group as they were heading for the boat and pleaded with the king not to go. An old kahuna, a shaman in Hawaii, chanting rapidly while holding a coconut, attempting to distract Cook and his men as a large crowd formed at the shore to protest. At that point, the king understood Cook was his enemy. As Cook turned his back to help launch the boat, he was struck on the head by the villagers and then stabbed to death as he fell on his face in the surf. He was struck on the head by the chief, I can't pronounce that name, stabbed by one of the king's attendants, Nua. All right. Okay, yeah, so he died. All right. Yeah, he paid the ultimate price. It sounds like, I don't know the details of this story, but I mean, if you go and kidnap a king, you're kind of asking for trouble, aren't you? But yeah, you can understand that when these people met these folk, they may have thought, well, are they even human? I mean, I know that the Aztecs under King Montezuma, the Emperor of Mexico, when they met Cortez, Cortez the Conquistador, they thought he might be Quetzalcoatl the god, because you saw these guys with white skin and beards wearing weird clothing. I mean, they do look a bit like... If I saw people who looked that different from me, I'd think, are they aliens? And they were riding in these big tall clipper ships, which, of course, the Mexicans didn't have them. Would that be a bit like looking at a weird UFO or something? Definitely. Although, I mean, if an alien tried to kidnap... Well, if they want the Queen, the Queen is an alien anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if there was a legitimate monarch like Boudica or somebody, and the aliens tried to kidnap her, yeah, I would protest with force if necessary. So who can blame the Hawaiians? Yeah, and who could blame us? Interesting story. Well, I learned something today, Hatchy. I'll have to look into that some more. The Skeptics React. HQCom S65 says, awesome, Ben. Love from Glastonbury, UK. Thanks very much. HQComs are getting a love heart for that. Same video. DJ B2. Interesting points, Ben. Thanks, DJ. Thanks, by the way, all of you who took part in the live stream yesterday. I much appreciate that. Dalai Lapa says, love you too, Mush. I can't see Dalai Lapa again, which I don't understand, because I could see him in the live chat during the live stream, and I can't see Dalai Lapa when he posts comments. And why is that? Dalai, is it something to do with your settings? You kind of blocked me, otherwise you wouldn't have been a post at all. I don't get that. Or I wouldn't be able to see you in the chat, the live chat. I don't get that. Skeptics React. Wayne RS4 said, hi Ben, just a quick thank you for your kind words in the last comments video. Yourself and 2 other subscribers' comments did stop me doing something very silly. Oh, and I owe you all a big thank you. Loving these YouTube videos, thank you. You're very welcome. I remember you were very depressed, weren't you? I'm glad you're feeling better, I really do. Tanya says, big hugs from Australia, Wayne. It's okay. You won't catch anything. I'm English. Wayne says to Tanya, bless you, and big hug back again. I'm pleased, Wayne. I really am. Well done. Well, I hope you'll be all right now. Same video, Taft Derek Baker. Elizondo is used. Thinking the Pentagon has good intentions is like the engineer requesting the apprentice to find a long wait. Engineer requested the apprentice to find a long wait. I don't quite get that though. But yeah, we don't have what you're basically saying is the Pentagon is unlikely to have good intentions. I agree. I think if there's any kind of big D disclosure, it will be something they're forced to do, not doing willingly. Oberg is a sociopath, the real deal. Is that James Oberg, the skeptic? Yeah. Sander debunked Mick West. Oh right, there's loads of people debunking Mick West now, including some former pilots. Oh, this is UAP research. Oh right, I'll sub to these people. Yeah. Mick West debunked. Yeah. Anyone who says Mick West debunked I'm getting a sub from me. Yeah. Mick West debunked. Fleer video. Nellis teaser video. Yeah. Image analysis team. Yeah. Excuse me. I'm very pleased with the fact there are people speaking out now. I mean, there's a lot of pilots now, and they're not being nasty to him. They're not going, "Oh, you're not a pilot. What do you know?" or any of that sort of ad hominem stuff. They're just calmly and collectively telling him why he's talking crap. We have here reply to comments 43. The crafty nihilists. Don't forget Draco Malfoy in Harry Potter. Yes, Draco means dragon. Yes, dragon, Draco constellation, yeah. Skeptics react. Ben, I'm still waiting and watching, says Hugo Rune. Let's watch this first. Well, I'll endeavour to reply to you as best I can, Hugo. I really will. Right, Charles Scott. All right, on reply to comments 43. After reviewing my comments, which I did not cut or paste, copy or paste, in the comment section of your video, the Apollo Detectives, Unsuitable Astronauts, Charles, some of your comments were absolutely identical. I don't mind that. There's nothing wrong with it, but you did cut and paste them. You must have done. You can't have typed them all out, surely. And considering all of my favourites used in the UFO Truth magazine reference do not correlate with Charles Unleashed slanderous gibberish maths claims in your comments section of UFO Disclosure 2021 on St. Theo's Day. Your YouTube viewers can draw their own conclusions, as well as your conclusion when you find time. It shouldn't take an hour. You should then realise, to alleviate your concern, that I stitched you up, and it is in fact Charles Unleashed who has brought our reputation into disrepute by repeatedly stating his proven to be false slanderous claim. Therefore, will you join me in condemning Charles Unleashed for such defamation? I will, if you can. This is your side of the story, and I appreciate you giving it to me. I'm glad you're responding to me on this, Charles. But I'm not going to accuse Charles Unleashed any more than I'm going to accuse you. Neither of you have faced a tribunal. I don't know how to unpick this based on your testimony alone. I think there does have to be a proper tribunal. Either way, I'm not sorry that, and I still appreciate your help with the UFO Truth magazine article, and I'm not going to remove the reference. I'm not going to change the reference. Again, I'm not on his Charles Unleashed words alone. I think you've blocked Charles, haven't you? Skeptics react. Tanya Cummings says, Ben, I listened to your video about the return of Boris and Trump. What the heck happened to it? Oh, you've noticed. You've noticed already. I sat and drafted this huge long reply with tons of info, went back through and edited typos, hit the reply button and got the message, this video no longer exists. It took me half an hour. Went and searched your channel. No sign of it. Fortunately, I did copy and emailed it to myself before I discarded it. So I have it, if you would like to see it. I'm so cross. I spent so long on where I should be getting some piano practice before getting ready to go out. It's important info, so I took the time. And Tanya Cummings said, because I actually wrote to Tanya and said, could you email it to me? And Tanya Cummings said she did email it to me. And I just said, I'm sorry about that. The upload was banned. I'm about to post an explanation video, which I did. Feel free to send me your reply. Tanya said, I emailed it to the email address, found it bounced. Please give your preferred email address, and I gave it to her. Now, Tanya, the problem was, Tanya, that you happened to be writing that. You wrote got to the page when the video was still there, started writing your comment, which was a long one. By the time you finished it, the video was deleted. So when you press send, the page automatically refreshes to allow you to post your message. But the actual message was gone. The actual video was gone. But it's good. Well done for cutting and pasting and keeping it. Well done for keeping it. That's always worth doing if you're doing a long comment. Make sure you just copy it to a Word document. And as it happens, you did send it to me. I'm now going to address the comment you made. Tanya says, there is quite a bit of anecdotal evidence DJT is actually President Donald John Trump, yeah. Brad Barton video blogs daily from Chattanooga, Tennessee on his own website, and someone called G. Gabbers mirrors on Rumble. A couple of days ago he mentioned at the end there was a fairly senior army guy who attended a retirement ceremony for a military man, and a thank you congratulatory retirement certificate was signed by Donald J. Trump, President. Also, there was a photo of a hall somewhere, some sort of military hall, might have been a mess hall or a meeting place, where the pictures of senior military hang, and always there's a picture of the commander-in-chief, that is the sitting president. When there is a change of president, the previous president's picture is taken down and a new one is put up immediately. The changeover of that picture is immediate. There is an empty space where the president's picture should be. Other people have mentioned it on the forums, and people who have admin jobs in military intelligence or some such, don't quote me, but someone who daily sees a row of pictures of top brass on the CIC every day reported there was an empty space, and that is unprecedented. Never happened before. That's interesting, Tanya, isn't it? Yeah. I can well believe it, because a lot of people in the intelligence community must know the election was you know what. I can't say it on YouTube. They must know it was you know whated. Some people have stated their recent stimulus checks that were held up by the new administration for some time. When they finally got their checks, they were signed by Donald J. Trump. Though those stimulus checks, yeah, that Biden promised everyone, as soon as he was elected, oh, well, I'll get round to them at some point. Give me a few months and I'll send them to you. But Trump has sent them now. It's hard to believe Trump personally signs a couple of 100 million checks. So maybe it's a facsimile signature. Nevertheless, it is Trump's, not Biden's, the commander-in-thief. Yeah. And remember, Trump folded the Federal Reserve Bank into the Treasury. Wow, really? He didn't, did he? Now that would be something, because that would undo the beast from Jekyll Island, as Geoda Griffin calls it. The Federal Reserve Act was signed, I think, in 1910. Was it 1910, 1913? Basically, the Federal Reserve Act and its equivalent legislation in other countries basically made the 20th century what it was, including all the war and the revolution and stuff like that. If it hadn't been for that act, I think we'd have had 2016 in 1916. And right now we'd be like a century into the post-disclosure world, post-Illuminati world. Please don't expect me to explain the logistics of this, but basically he bankrupted the Fed, and now it is owned by the Treasury, effectively ending the corporation of the United States of America and returning it to the people as the true republic. Yay! Q was right. This means DC is now definitely foreign soil. Maybe that's why they want to stop it being a district. They want to turn it into a state. Maybe that's why. And if Biden is president of anything, it is the corporation, and DJT is the 19th president of the true republic. Yeah. And inaugurated in March, wasn't he? Plenty of Q researchers and analysts online who explain this properly. Try X22 report. Yeah, I like him. Praying Medic and We Know channels. Yeah, I don't know the Praying Medic, but I know X22 and We Know. I know those. Also, there was very low-key discussion of the distinct possibility the military is governing under a devolution process whereby different responsibilities have been compartmentalized to different military units in different locations, geographically distant from one another, with assigned tasks to administer the running of the country, but no decision-making authority, and each compartment operates in secret, independently or unaware of the other compartments. What they are, where they are, or what they're doing, to safeguard against military conspiring a hostile coup. There was an executive order signed by Obama, actually, that allows for the state of emergency where the President, VP and Speaker of the House, third in line, are unavailable for some reason, injury or worse. That's right. The law of succession only goes to the 3 people. After that, basically, you have to install a provisional government. If you have read my books, Roswell Rising and Novel of Disclosure, and its 2 sequels, available in all good bookshops now, price £10, you'll know that actually happens in the scenario of the story. They basically have to implement a. They literally have to implement a provisional government. Yeah. The supposition here is that DJT is the president. But when the CV-19 state of emergency was declared, DJT effectively set this in motion, and it is still in play. Another thing, Brad Barton had a close trusted friend with a son in the military. Said son was due to come home on leave from wherever he was posted, but called his parents on FaceTime and said he wouldn't be coming. He had been seconded to a special training and said he was trained to work in the White House for the president from August. His mother said to him, "Son, which president?" And the son made a close-lipped, smiling face, raised his eyebrows, shrugged and spread his hands. "I know nothing" style. He obviously couldn't say, but was sending the message that DJT also mentioned in short videos that he would be back in the White House sooner than you think. It's on, folks. Brilliant comment. Well done, Tanya. That's a fantastic comment. Well done for preserving it. Well done indeed. You keep hold of it, actually. In fact, if you want to repost it anywhere, do so. I could do it myself, but I'll let you do that. I've heard it before. August is the day when it's happening. Or August is the month. Sorry, August is not a day. August is a month. What are you talking about, Ben? August is the month when it all happens. This is why when on Facebook, I was on one of the Trump supporters groups on Facebook, and they were all going, Trump 2024, Trump 2024. I put Trump 2021. And I got a load of love hearts for that. So thank you very much, Tanya. I appreciate you taking the time for this very detailed comment. Well done for keeping it. Well done for preserving it. That's not one I'd want to write out all over again. And I'll be saying more about the banned video in a minute. David, Splendid Isolation on UFO Disclosure 2021, The Skeptics React. The noisy negativists, that's what Stan Friedman called them, increasingly have nowhere else to go. Now backed into a corner, they will self-destruct or go completely mad. Either way, they won't apologise for being totally unreasonable arse-hats for so long, arrogant as they are. Yeah, Cox will, that's Coxie, Professor Brian Cox, he will probably retire and he'll go somewhere and never speak to the media again. He will never ever, he doesn't have the humility to stand up and just admit he was wrong. He doesn't. David Smith says in reply to that, I have a strong suspicion you could reuse this comment on another video Ben makes 10 years from now, making the same claims. I hope not, though. Would love there finally to be some sort of solid evidence of aliens visiting the Earth or anything paranormal. Hey, David, timestamp that conversation, that particular comment, because we will see. Because in 10 years' time, if I'm still around, and if I'm still doing videos, which I hope I will be, I will remember that you said this. All of you take note of what David Smith says, and we'll see. And he'll have. Will you admit you're wrong, David, in 10 years' time, if that happens? Will you? Remember that. Remember this date. It is the 3rd. What is it now? It is the 27th of June, 2021. On the 27th of June, 2031. I will remember David Smith's comment, and I will see how well it aged. Same video, Jorge Rodriguez. Hello, Ben. Are you saying that people have to believe, he puts it in capitals first, anything otherwise? And if you not, people are skeptics? I don't think so. The definition of a skeptic just means one who doubts. That's all it is. So if we're coming on to the definition of the skeptics, it is literally someone who does not believe. Yeah. I think if we are going to be literal about it, that's what a skeptic is. However, when I say the word skeptic, and when anyone says the word skeptic, we all know it kind of means something else, doesn't it? It kind of means something else. And if you want to know more about that, because it's a long, complicated story, watch my skeptic videos, especially the most recent one. That's Truth Seekers Northeast 5, and I'll go into details there. I'm going back to Truth Seekers Northeast soon as well. Right, UAP report leaked, Bluebeam. I think Bruce Fenton's UFO Twitter is a great source to analyse the media coverage of current Gov UFO sightings talks. Some call it disclosure, but who knows? You little Churchill clone, Ben. I need a cigar, don't I? Bruce, I know Bruce Fenton. I've met him. I've interviewed him. I think he was the one who posted on Twitter that Atlantic article I mentioned the other night, which I didn't quite agree with. But I think he's very good. I think he's very with it. And I haven't been paying as... Excuse me. I haven't been paying as much attention to it as I should. Skeptics reacts, Kevin Green. These skeptics have encountered a situation that makes them feel obliged to change their position. We've all been there. Well, some of them have, Kev. And look at Sam Harris. But you see, they're not all going to do that, though. As I explained in the video, some of them are going to double down, no matter what. They will double down. When they're caught, some people do. When they're caught in a corner, they just double. Some people get caught in a corner. They defend themselves by pretending they're not caught in that corner. Andrew Johnson did this when I confronted him over his disgusting behaviour when Ian R. Crane passed away. If I was in his position, I hope I'd have the balls to apologise and just say, I'm sorry I shouldn't have done that. If he'd done that, I mean, that, as far as I'm concerned, that would have been the end of the matter. But no, he doubled down. He made a video about me, about a critical video of me. He just said, I've done nothing wrong, blah-de-blah-de-blah. So, and indeed, the skeptics do that. The skeptics will they'll be looking for loopholes. They'll be looking for ways out. They'll be looking for escape clauses and everything. And some of them, when they're pushed up against the wall, will say, the attack ship from Zeta Reticuli that's currently standing on the White House lawn is a bouncy castle. And nothing will pull them out of it. Nothing will make them, will snap them out of their trance. It's like in C.S. Lewis's The Last Battle, the dwarfs, when they go through the stable into the other world, they just sit there and pretend they're still in a stable. It's a good, by the way, the Chronicles of Narnia, everyone knows Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, but look at the others, don't they? Look at the other, just check out the other books in the series. They're very good. Right, Boris and Trump returned banned. This is where I complain about the video that disappeared when Tanya Cummings was writing that excellent email, excellent comment which she emailed to me and had the good sense to cut and paste and emailed to me. Israel Diego Rivera 2 Genius 2 says, Boris Johnson wants to be gender neutral. Right, well, if he's going to do that, he better do something about his hair. Blue Beam says underneath, don't pull a slat shaming onto Boris. Slat shaming, yes. Same video, Steve071. AI equals AU. Arseholes on intelligence. Yeah. As an update, I mean, the 7 days came and went. They never even reported on my appeal. They never even answered my appeal. Nihilist Lives Matter. The shills probably flagged it. I think it's more likely to be AI. Otherwise, they'd be flagging other videos. I mean, shills have flagged my videos. I've had false flags on several videos. No, it's probably just simply the bloody bots, and they're useless. I mean, you can't. The bots would process. They process appeals as well. You can lose an entire catalogue and even your entire channel these days without talking to a single bloody human, or even a single human knowing your situation. Sonara's Ashtray said, some no mark has flagged it, probably, Ben. Absolutely ridiculous, but that's the state of it now. I know. It probably wasn't anyone particularly, Sonara, but it was this. Well, YouTube's algorithms are they're a kind of troll in themselves. They've been set up to look up, to try and find out crime thing and delete it. Yeah. It's maybe because I mentioned the C word and the V word in that particular video. Same video, Dedrick Ravenhill, Mystery Sword Merchant, 1968. A frustrating situation, Ben. I hope you enjoyed your holiday spell. I did, thank you. Ravenhill. You got another name I still call you Ravenhill. I know you as that, but I did thank you. I had a really great holiday. Dedrick. Should I call you Dedrick or Ravenhill? DJ B2. Yeah, the hiatus works. Kidding, bud. Well, I can't help wondering, DJ, if while the cat was away, the mice decided to play. Huge arsehole says, they just make it up as they go along. It's complete censorship. Yeah, they don't have to justify anything they do. They can just do it. They have complete control. They will not sign Section 230, which allows them the power of being a publisher, without giving their users the freedom which would be if they declared themselves a platform. The simplest thing in the world simply to sign Section 230. If they do that, they can stop worrying about it because they're legally exempt from everything posted on their platform. We, the users, take responsibility. And it means they could get rid of all these mountains of computer servers that run the AIs. They could get rid of all this administration that's necessary, which a publisher needs. They could downsize drastically and increase their profit margin, actually. But they won't do it. Why? Because they want a pretext for censorship. Not signing Section 230 gives them the right to censor their own platform. They want the best of both worlds, basically. They want to have their cake and eat it. UFO Disclosure 2021, The Skeptics React. Snarnox says, more evidence has come to light regarding Atlantis in Mauritania, which has not been mentioned in the mainstream. That's right, the Rifat structure. Rifat? I was thinking of Tim Rifat. What's it called? Hang on. Eye of Africa, here we go. The Richat structure, not the Rifat structure. This is a very strange thing. It's in the middle of the Sahara Desert in Mauritania. It's in a very remote area. It's very difficult to get to. There's no water. There's one little road. It's quite a lawless area too. There are bandits all over the place. But several people have made it. I've seen people who've gone there and taken selfies and things. There has been some archaeological work done there as well. But really, there needs to be this warrants a proper research project. Get people in with all the infrastructure, the security, the transport. The deliveries of goods and services, and set up a proper archaeology project there to check to see what's there, because it exactly resembles Plato's Atlantis. Oh, Ben, but it's in the middle of the desert. It's hundreds of miles from the sea. I know that. It is now, but what about when the sea level was higher or lower? Look at it. It's like a bullseye. It's got like layers and rings. It's sort of like circumscribed rings. 4 circumscribed rings, just like Atlantis was described. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 circumscribed rings. It's an amazing thing, the Richat structure, yeah. And Snarnot recommended Bright Insights YouTube channel. I checked it out. And I was very interested in the video about that. Snarnock said, amazing that most people would rather watch the big match or the latest celeb dancing contest. Yeah, I know. I don't like watching big matches, especially when, like I say, the taking a knee I won't watch. And Denmark thrashed Wales last night, unfortunately, 4-0. That was a shame. Mind you, if I didn't see if the team took a knee. If the team took a knee, then they bloody deserve it. Same video. Snarnock says, don't forget Devon Island. Yes, Devon Island. Now, that is a place and a half, isn't it? Now, if you watch Rich Planet TV, you'll know that Richard has formulated something very interesting. He's written a book, actually, I've got it up there, which is a hypothesis about the Martian rovers. They're not actually on Mars, and everything that's been done is being done on Devon Island. Now, it would be the perfect place, actually, because the landscape resembles that of Mars. It's just bare rocks. It's very cold there, just like Mars. It's uninhabited. There's no one lives there. It's a large island. It's actually about the size of England. But it has no population. No one lives there. There's a few visiting scientists. That's all. Yeah, it's interesting. That's very, very curious. Devon Island is in the Canadian Arctic. Boris and Trump return banned. Nigel Phillips says poo tube. Yes, poo tube. Absolutely, they're a bunch of poo. Same video, Pauline Phillips. I expect the mere mention of Trump was enough to get it removed, Ben. They're so paranoid. Yeah, I have a feeling, even though the reason it was removed was because of bullying and harassment. I mean, I've watched the video, because always remember, if any video disappears from my channel, I back them up in at least 3 places. BitChute, Odyssey, Library. You can watch them there. Please do get an account and sub to me on those platforms. You never know when you might need them. You may at one point it might be the only place you can find me. I watched it over again. Of course, I've also got my own recording. Naturally, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't work out for the life of me what the hell was going on. I just got to do something quickly. I'll finish a job I did earlier. Okay, one sec. Is that working? What are we at a moment, ladies and gents?
Lady, if I...
Yeah, okay. Just checking something. Okay. Yeah, so it's basically somehow it triggered one of the block bots. I lost another video since then. Actually, I didn't make a video about it because even though I said I should. It's one of the old "but you do nothing" videos was banned for hate speech. And it was the one called "I hate plane huggers." I hate plane huggers. They banned it. They banned the video called "I hate plane huggers." It's a joke. It's a satire, and I explained this in my appeal, and they didn't. I did get a reply, and they said we're going to reject your appeal. Oh dear! You couldn't make it up. You couldn't make it up. All right. Nappa's Quest says on Boris and Trump return. Just one moment. I'll just make a note of something. Blah. Just making a note there. Oh, yeah, that's it. You need to go capless for a few days, Ben. Even that tan up. All right. Yes. Well, as far as my tan goes, it's just too painful on my follicles. Just they weep and it's really horrible. I know I look a little like a Cadbury's cream egg that's just been bitten into. But it's only a few months of the year. Yeah, censoring important info and pushing professionals that can't make their mind up. Will Trump come back and boot Fauci into touch again? I reckon he will, I bloody hope so. Because it needs to be done. He needs to come back. He needs to get back into the White House where he belongs, where he is supposed to be. Definitely. Chris on MTB says, bet you've been wearing the hat in the sun. Yes. I should have maybe put it on when I did that video, but I was in my hotel room. I thought, what the hell, Angie McCorry said, these are all on Boris and Trump return banned. It must have been a good video or they wouldn't have removed it. That's what I think, Angie. Well, check it out for yourself. It's on, as I explained in this video, it's on BitChute, it's on Library, it's on Odyssey. I've also put it on my Facebook group, Interesting Videos Public, so check that out. Dr. Respect says, AI is pretty advanced, so standard it broke a game. Take a look. All right, is this the Go thing? Is this the Alpha Go? Open AI, please hide and seek, and breaks the game. What's this? Oh, wait, is this a long video? Hang on, I've got ads. If this isn't long, I can't really watch it. Oh, it's 6 minutes.
With Károly Zsolnai Fehér. In this project, OpenAI built a hide-and-seek game for their AI agents.
Oh, that's interesting. But yeah, I thought it might be the AlphaGo documentary you talked about, because that was interesting. Because the game Go, which is like a Chinese game, board game, very simple game actually, but it's one of these games that you can learn to play in like 5 minutes, but it takes a lifetime to master. There was a game called they made out a program called AlphaGo, which beat the world champion very easily. It played the perfect game every time. I mean, the chess playing computers now can beat any human. They took on Garry Kasparov and did the best of 5, and he didn't even get a game back. They won 5-0. Dr. Respect carries on. YT has become very bad at this sort of thing. I figure the internet will all go offline soon for a short period of time, and this will bring in a new online system in which one-way communication will be accepted. I'll try and explain. Are you talking about this cyber attack that's supposed to be replacing coronavirus? It's either that or food shortages, but certainly when the C word won't last forever, it's going to get kind of... It's wearing a bit thin now. They're probably going to switch it for something else. But as I said before, they've always got to have some kind of crisis, haven't they? They can't leave us in peace. there's always got to be some kind of turmoil that we're going through to keep us on our toes and keep them fixated on them, and they can step in and say, look, the world, we have this problem to deal with, but don't worry, just trust us, give your faith in us, pay us your taxes, and we will protect you from this nightmare. Yeah, so there'll be something else to replace the C word once the C words run out. Dr. Respect carries on. First, they start brainwashing the public with newspapers, one-way communication. Then they started brainwashing the people with radio, one-way communication. You know War of the Worlds, when it first broadcast, some people thought it was really happening. They did, yes. It was a docudrama-style radio show, and people actually got in cars and started driving out into the countryside. Then they moved to television and movies, one-way communication. Today we have the computer that connects us from all over the world to express and be able to communicate with each other. Two-way communication. This new net that's coming will have another system of communication. Will be another one-way system of communication. All right, so they'll do away with all interactive interfaces. I mean, I don't know if that's possible. Actually, I think would people stand for it? I suppose if it was the solution to a problem, they would. Yeah. So you could say whatever they say and government goes, no matter what other evidence people find to refute the government's rules or regulations, rights, etc. And when that happens, most people will just believe what is shown to them because no other info is coming from anywhere else, controlled information, so to speak. Yeah, I mean, most news sites are already like that, Dr. Respect. I know, like, I know that The Guardian, for example, and several others, that I don't think the Telegraph's done it yet, but The Guardian closed its comments. Most of the articles have closed comments boxes now. Because what happens is loads of people post in and they say, stop talking such woke crap all the time. And so their response was not to refute the people doing this. Their response was to close the comment sections. And there are people I know who did on the Telegraph comment section. They would literally have communities on the Telegraph comment section. There was also the Telegraph public blog. So the Daily Telegraph website used to have let people actually write public blogs on their website to commentate on the news stories. And you know what? They banned it. They got rid of it. So what you're describing is already happening. Now, I don't think it's possible to remove two-way communication entirely. That's a fundamental part of the internet. I don't think they can. But they will try. You wait and see, yeah. They'll certainly try to limit free expression in all kinds of ways. Dr. Respect goes on. So you could say, whatever they say in government goes, no matter whatever, yeah, whatever. Oh, well, I've already read that bit, yeah. Controlled information, definitely, yeah. So it's a good point. It's already starting. Flappy Hand says on Boris and Trump banned. It's getting bad. I called somebody I didn't know stupid in a random reply on Facebook the other day and got banned for bullying and harassment. Human Mod reviewed it too. Snowflakes. I think calling people stupid, it depends. I don't know what this conversation was like, Flappy Hands. So I can't judge by the context. But, if calling someone stupid is not a good idea, it's better to explain calmly and rationally why you think they're wrong. I'm not saying calling someone stupid constitutes bullying and harassment. I'm not a snowflake. If you did that to me, I would just take it, and I'll probably give you back as good as I got. But some people will take it the wrong way. What's more, some admins will use that as an excuse to shut you down. When you're in debates with these people on these various Facebook groups and you're playing away, in other words, you're on a group with people who disagree with you, you've got to be whiter than white. Don't give them the excuse of getting rid of you, the pretext, by saying, oh, he was rude, so I just dropped him. That's not the reason they're dropping you. They're dropping you because you're disagreeing with them. But you've got to make it, you've got to behave in a way that the only way they can get rid of you is to get rid of you because they disagree and to admit they do it for that reason. But anyway, David Smith says, reported for use of Snowflake. Seriously, though, it goes both ways. On the very right-wing MSN comments section, anything remotely approaching sanity is deleted, insult or not. Oh, you get, David Smith, you get this everywhere. I know that it's not just left-wingers who do this. I mean, Skeptics do it, believers do it, right-wing people do it. Yeah, I think it's because it's the kind of interaction that detaches people from the effects of their actions. So you can actually be nasty to someone in a way. People will be nasty to someone else online when they would never stand in front of you and say it. They never look you in the eye in meat space and say that. It's very cowardly, actually. Very cowardly indeed. Boris and Trump return banned. Jack Parker said, I just started watching this video. Sorry, I don't have time, unfortunately, to watch anything, including the reply to comments these days. I wish I could stack them and put it on my agenda. It's the amount I produce, Jack. I know. I mean, there's channels I like Alien Scientist. I'd love to watch all his stuff, but I don't have time because he uploads about 5 hours a day, and that's the end of hour number 1. Whereas I upload 5 hours in just a single video sometimes, don't I? Yeah. So yeah, it's a bit tricky that. And anyway, he carries on. The concern with Brigade bent on rebellion against factually proven stats on the election, without any tangible proof or discussion. They just want to have no lost whoever they are. They need to jump aboard our working system of government. Perfection was never the promise, but we do need to see enough imperfection to raise issues. Right. I'm not sure I quite get you there, I'm afraid, Jack. Sorry. The concern with Brigade bent on tangible proof was they just want to have no lost whoever they are. I don't quite get you there. But anyway, thank you for that comment. I'll try and pick up on some of the other things you say. I know you do tend to talk in this very cryptic way, I must say. Anyway, time to go on to hour number 2. All right, I'm back. And so where are we now? Where were we? Well, Jack Parker's made another comment on Boris and Trump return banned. The law has been adjusted to include rebellion organising. When it apparently worked last time to incite and organise that tour through the White House, leaving dead individuals, maybe with heart problems, who would have fallen over going up the stairs anyway, but doubtful. All right, you're referring, I think, to the so-called attempted coup, where protesters, and they were just protesters, broke into were allowed in to the halls of Congress during the Stop the Steal rally. Yeah, I did an entire video about that. Yeah, clearly manufactured outrage, clearly a staged event. It's sad they fell for it. It's sad that the people didn't see it coming. If I'd been there, I'd been shouting at them, "Come back, come back! It's a trap! It's a trap!" Jack Parker said, and that somehow Donald Trump and his instigators on stage had nothing to do with it, while walk down Pennsylvania Avenue and uttering its own video clearly heard. We'll see what's in there. There's got to be something in there. Now, he said, we will make our feelings known. We will march down Pennsylvania Avenue and make our feelings known. He said this at the rally. I don't think a US president has ever addressed a rally like that. But yeah, it was very interesting indeed, wasn't it? Yeah. Same video, Jack Parsons. So what did the terrorists do? Break in, begin taking pictures of files, stealing laptops, etc. What a wonderful tour. Yeah, I think someone stole Nancy Pelosi's laptop, which I don't think has any. I doubt if it had any classified information on it, unless it happened to have her sex tape on it. It was probably pretty harmless. They did overturn some chairs, things like that. But generally speaking, they didn't actually do any permanent damage to the halls of Congress. They did a lot less damage when the British actually shelled it in 1812 during the Anglo-American War, where the whole place was gutted by fire. Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they start a fire or something? They didn't. They even stayed behind the ribbons when they were walking through the rotunda. Yeah. It was a tour. Basically, it was just a bit of a lot. They were just doing it for kind of fun, really. I think on the most part. But now, Baked Alaska and the Q shaman, they're facing 15 years in jail. How many BLM rioters, so-called protesters, have faced any jail time? It's all very one-sided, isn't it? Same video, Jack Parker. I watched Donald Trump's rallies and speeches diligently with intent to understand his motives and actions. Good on you. Yeah, he's still doing them. He's just started a Rumble channel. Have you seen that? He's on Rumble. I'll put, yeah, Donald Trump. I just subbed to him, actually, on Rumble. I don't know if you get a list of subs here. There we are. Donald J. Trump, live on Rumble. He joined on the 26th, which was yesterday. Yeah. Text. Yeah. It is real. I did wonder if it was real. I asked the person who shared it with me, is it real? Is it real? It is, apparently. It's the real Trump. Same video, Jack Parker. There's one resounding word that unfortunately describes your mood. Sociopath. It's for anyone who deserves it. Us against them. That unfortunately, my mood. I'm not a sociopath, if you mean me. I don't think you do, Jack. Come on, you know me better than that. They who are who do you mean instead? They who are ostensibly demons in our minds. They are desperate workings of civilization. That is our only foe. I think that refers once again to what you were saying earlier. Was it you who talked about the Aramanic, made me talk about the Aramanic forces? Then you're right, yeah. And you tend to write in this very cryptic style, Jack, but I do try to understand you as best as I can. Marky Boy says on UFO Disclosure 2021, the skeptics react. Sorry, Ben, but Bojo's announcement of another month on top of the 21st shows you he's a fully paid up NWO. No Trump to the rescue either, mate. Well, I'll have to disagree with you on the second part. I think Trump is around. But yeah, Bojo is, unfortunately, yes, a fully paid up NWO. Well, not paid up at the moment. He's fully imprisoned by the NWO. Yeah. And it's sad. I had high hopes for him. He's not Britain's Trump. Not at the moment, anyway. But, I mean, he can always pull back. The thing about people who operate under coercion, they can find a way to break that coercion, rather than someone who's just an evil shit. Boris and Trump return, bans the coincidence theorist. Orange man bad, Ben. If you don't know that, you're not Don Lemon. Okay, I'm not Don Lemon. You made an appearance in my dream last night. Not one of them dreams. Not one of them dreams. I wish you knew where we were going in your car. Coincidence theorist, did you? Right. This is not I know some people can share their dreams. People who are psychic. I can't. I've not had a dream about being in a car. I don't own a car of my own. I have had dreams of driving a car, but not for a long time. Let's have a look at you. I certainly don't. I think I'd recognise you. What do you look like? Do you have a picture of yourself? Well, it's a kind of a. No, I don't think that's you. It's a kind of. I think that's David Bowie, isn't it? Yeah. I don't recognise you. I don't know. I don't remember that dream. Same video, Tanya Cummings. Yes, I posted it under another vid. I typed for a long time. I typed to reply. By the time I had sent the Boris Trump vid, it was gone. I emailed it to you, Ben, but it bounced. Okay, Tanya, thanks. I appreciate that. I got your. Well done for keeping a copy of it. Like I said, I've got it. I've replied to it now. Yeah. So. I then put my own comment on there saying I've just had another video removed by YouTube. It's an old but you do nothing comedy. It looks like my channel is in the gun sites right now. Yeah, it was the I hate the plane huggers thing, or I hate no planers. It was a joke. Of course, it's a satirical joke. It's a comedy. But the AI bots took it seriously, which shows they have no concept of humour. I think that is still very much a human trait. Maybe human and humour sound similar for the same reasons. Boris and Trump return ban. Tessa Warner 1. Put a bit of tan colour on top of your head, sweetie. Even it out. I sent underneath. If you can match the tones perfectly, otherwise I'll end up looking like a double-decker bar. I'll also avoid the Trumpian orange. Tessa says underneath, they have made improvements, and many do not go orange, over-the-counter kinds. They do take a couple of applications to match the turn, or you do have. Or you could do without the hat for a few hours. Okay, David Smith says, do a bullseye to wind up the spy satellites. I could do. All I have to do is cut a hole in the top here, don't I? If I cut a hole in the crown of the hat, I would, wouldn't I? I'll tell you what, though, it bloody hurts. if you've got like short hair or no hair, like in my case, and you get a sunburn on your scalp, it bloody hurts. It's very painful. Penta Skywatch, Old Gaffer says, love this case. Thanks. It is. It's amazing, isn't it, Gaffer? Here's a really amazing case. Dr. Respect says on Penta Skywatch. That was a long one here. You're not very far from my encounter back in 1997. Here's the grid location, and he gives the grid location here, to where I parked and where we both seen the triangular craft within a few hundred feet above the car stationary with no sound. Oh, does it look like Kazi? It may be something similar. If it's where, I mean, I can't look up the grid location now. Could you tell me exactly where you are, where exactly where this happened, in terms of the local area? He carries on. I still think they come out of the water. And your topic video, Lord of the Rings. Who is the Lord of the Rings? The tree? The universe is a container. It contains everything written. The Lord of the Rings is Sauron, the bad guy. He has the one ring that makes him Lord of all the rings of power. The apple tree grew to a stage in which it creates a lot of apples. The apples fall to apples fall to the ground, where the outer shell rots and the seeds within then begin to grow and become a tree. The only way to become a tree is to be the seed and not the fruit. Correct. The reason it's a fruit is that because they're hoping animals will eat it and it'll then pass through their bodies and out the other end with all the poo, and it'll grow there a long, long way from the tree with lots of nice manure to get it started. That's why you have fruit. You shall know them by their fruits. Okay, I'm afraid I don't quite understand that bit about the apple tree. But anyway, he carries on. People, not everybody, but the majority of people, think they are the fruits and not the seed within. But the seed within is a seed of consciousness. Your body is a container for your seed. And by thinking you are a body, you will rot, just like the fruit. But if you know you are the seed, you become the tree. Oh, are you referring, is this an analogy here for the consciousness and the body, the soul and the body? You're a dualist, I take it. All life has a container, and what does all life have in common? Hugo Roon says, interesting, but I'm a cripple. Hugo, when we refer to the body and the soul, I don't know what you think about that, but I personally believe people do have like a soul, and I think the latest research into consciousness, which actually came up in the live stream last night, indicates that is the case, which means you have a crippled body like many people do. People go through life, you get born, and sometimes you're born with a congenital problem. You might be born with a disability. Other people gain disabilities through illness or injury through the course of their life. My mum also was a cripple. She came down with what they thought it was multiple sclerosis originally, but then it got worse, and they thought they eventually made her a test case for a new disease. But she was a cripple as well. Other people do. Eventually you get old, and then that always takes its toll on you. So by the time most people reach a grand old age, they were already like crippled in some way or another. But your consciousness, your soul is there. And when you die, it'll move somewhere else. It'll go somewhere else. I don't know where. Maybe it could be. You could end up like Dolores Cannon talks about, some alien somewhere. I don't know, but you'll get another body when that time comes. You might get one without. You might get a non-crippled one. Pentax Skywatch. I watch you walking through the countryside, and for some odd reason, I wondered how easy it would be for me to hitchhike. As you're aware, I am now a cripple in a wheelchair. I recall my youth of hitchhiking my way around the country, always starting at the A1 and waiting for ages often. But what if you tried it now? What if I tried it now in my wheelchair? Sorry, odd thoughts, just the cannabis. It's the cannabis. Oh my God, you've been puffing away, haven't you, Hugo? Yeah. Well, obviously you wouldn't be able to get over that fence. But apart from that, you just go along the road. I mean, you've got to go along the side of the roads, and they're quite busy, which means I had to keep in a few times. I think it would probably be too dangerous if you're in a wheelchair. Not because you wouldn't be able to do it, it's just there's passing traffic all the time. But there's lots of places you can go. I mean, there's places you can go in a wheelchair. I mean, in Cardiff, I mean, there's wheelchair ramps everywhere. You know, I think you'd probably be all right once you're in Cardiff. But obviously, like the problem with that bloody that damn service station is there's literally no pedestrian access unless you're willing to go through those woods and climb over that fence. David Smith could simply strap you at the front. Bring goggles. Je suis Tadpole says, I'm afraid to tell you, but picking up and hitchhiking are both illegal now. I couldn't believe it myself when I saw it in an updated driving theory test book. Is that right? Is hitchhiking illegal? Bloody heck. Surely not. That's unbelievable. I mean, the laws that are like backing up. I mean, it's the laws that keep being piled up on us are unbelievable. David Smith says to Je suis Tadpole, just makes it more exciting. All right. Hugo says to Tadpole, oh dear, never mind cannabis. Hitchhiking is now illegal. I know, my goodness me. They're trying to... They're trying to... You can now smoke a spliff, but you can't stick your thumb out when you're on the pavement by the road. He goes on. My word. I never used cannabis in my youth. I'm 64. But I hitchhiked all over the country. But now hitchhiking is as illegal as cannabis? Oh my, what a fucking country we live in. And says to David, I'm game. Strap him onto the front. Oh yeah. You could tow him, or you could just maybe you could tow him along behind you, you know. Just get a rope, tie it around his wheelchair, and then tie it to your back bumper, pull him along. Sorry, Hugo. Pentax Skywatch, Sue Hayward Tomkin. I loved watching you walk through the countryside. It inspired me to look at houses for sale around Cardiff and Oxford. Lol, not that they're any less expensive as Oz houses, but I really enjoyed your travels. Oh, thanks, Sue. I'm glad you enjoyed that. Glad you enjoyed the thing. Hope your writing's going all right, by the way. If you want to come and live here, I mean, I don't know. Lots of Australians live in England, you know. Boris and Trump returned banned. Benson Fables. AI is running the show or trying to. Sorry, I made that comment before you mentioned AI. Yeah, no worries. That's okay. AI further into the video here, around 4 minutes-ish. Weird algorithms afoot. Cheers, Ben. Yeah, Benson, I think it literally was. It could well be some silly mistake. It doesn't mean I'm being persecuted in some way by the AIs, even though I am shadow banned. So I know I am to a certain extent. But, yeah, it's a... It's a really bad thing. You've got no recourse at all. You know, it's like, as Sargon says, it's like talking to God. Helen Sucker says on Pentax Skywatch, I enjoyed your walkabout. That Welsh incident is fascinating. Always good to hear about it. Love and peace to you. Oh, you're welcome, Helen. Glad you enjoyed it. It's an amazing one, I think. Diego Rivera says, it's all about Welsh UFO leaks. Ha 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 ha, leaks, L-E-E-K-S. Very funny, Diego Rivera. Very funny. UFO Disclosure 2021, the skeptics react. Ben, you keep oh man, have I... Oh, I did, right, yeah. Just checking I started the timer. You keep straw-manning skeptics. Skepticism. I'm a skeptic. If good evidence comes to light, then I'll change my mind. That's how it works. Well, that's, David, I don't think I'm straw-manning skeptics. I am saying that what you say is the literal definition of a skeptic. And it's correct. It is, as I explained that at the very beginning of my skeptic videos. If you watch them, the best one to watch is a bit shorter, is watch the UFO of the Truth Seekers Northeast 5. But you see, that's not what, basically, that's not actually what skeptics in the skeptic movement do, you see. There is nothing I'm holding on to. There's no worldview. There's simply disbelief. What you're doing reminds me of Christians who say atheists believe no God exists, when in reality, it's just a lack of belief. It's the same thing. No, you see, the conventional view of atheism, this is the Dawkinsian definition, which does state that. They say, all I'm doing is I'm saying I'm testing it as a hypothesis. But you see, the conventional view of atheism, dating back to Diderot and people like that. I mean, I recommend a book by what's his name? Dawkins' critic. What's his bloody name? McGrath. Alistair McGrath. A book by Alistair McGrath called The Twilight of Atheism, where he talks about this. He says the convention, the definition that Dawkins makes is not actually a real definition. It's his own personal little definition. He says, unless you're absolutely certain that God exists and you are 100% a theist, then you are by definition an atheist. That's not true. The traditional academic definition of atheism is someone who has a positive belief in the non-existence of God. In other words, puts it down almost as a kind of negative assertion. So it's not the same thing. David continues. Where are all these skeptics you keep talking about who make statements declaring there can never be any aliens? Philip Klass, Neil deGrasse Tyson. All right, I'm not talking about any that are not SETI enthusiasts. All right, to be honest, Tyson is something of a SETI acceptance. He has SETI fluid, shall we say? But a lot of the others are not. So, Professor Chris French, James Randi, Michael Shermer, for now, because I think he's on the fence. But do you want me to join? I can write you a longer list if you want, David. Because all the skeptics I follow never say that. They simply ask for good evidence, which is yet to be presented. Well, you see, I don't know if we're talking about any of the same people here, David, because the ones I'm referring to have been presented with good evidence, and they still deny there are aliens. Some of them, I think, are being very dishonest. Armand Adams says on Pentax Skywatch, what a fabulous video, Ben. I loved it from the beginning to end. And the walk to Cardiff train station was so enjoyable, I felt I was walking with you. Oh, thanks, Armand. You know, they say silver lining and all, as I said in the video. I was glad at the end. I was glad that happened. It was fun. It was an adventure, and I enjoyed it. Kaz is such a sweetie about ABS totally believe her story. She's great, isn't she? She's eloquent. She's really nice, and she's very sweet, and she's very likable, and she's eloquent, and she's intelligent. She's the perfect witness. It's sad the lockdown is continuing, but what is worrying is the effect this is doing to the mental health of the nation. I know, yeah. Can you do a video about the almost epidemic suicides that are happening around the country? I have done. I brought it up in which video? I brought it up in the family sadness video. The statistics that are published so far have not indicated a significant rise in suicides, but I question that. I question it because of the number of people who are complaining about the mental health problems that have emerged from the lockdown, and indeed that has been an effect. Now, whenever you get negative mental health, you should get a rise in suicides. So I suspect that they are actually massaging the figures again. Lemsip says on Pentax Skywatch. I actually know who Lemsip is now. I know her on Facebook. If you were travelling by train, you would be able to get one directly to Didcot Parkway and then change there to Cardiff. But trains are now prohibitively expensive. I remember when travelling on the National Express, you had to change at Cheltenham, and there were stops along the way in the city and town centres. Then direct routes were introduced in the 80s with no or fewer stops. I think coaches and express buses should stop at motorway service stations with more local bus services to nearby motorway service stations. That's not a bad idea, Lemsip. I wouldn't mind it, actually, if a local bus called at the service station just so I could get out of that place without having to climb over a fence. My ticket specifically said not Didcot Park, not via Swindon. I had to change to Swindon. So I had to change twice. But yeah, there are trains. I don't know why I couldn't get one that went straight through to Didcot Parkway. Because I asked the guy, I just asked the guy at the counter, and he said, oh, Swindon. He was the guy who believed in UFOs. Yeah. But, yeah, it seems an odd thing, actually, with National Express that You have to go all the way along the M4 to London. And then change and then come back. I mean, I had to change and get another coach for Oxford. Why can't they just go Swindon, Cheltenham, Oxford, or something like that? Or Cheltenham, Swindon, Oxford, something like that. Who gave the idea? Who had the idea? Do you want to get to South Wales by National Express? Oh, you got to go all the way to London first. I don't get that. It's a silly route. Pentach Skywatch, Lemsip says again, watching this as I live in Cardiff, Pentach is in the Cardiff Council area, even though it's in the countryside. There aren't many buses there. And it's too, I've cycled there, and it's too steep to cycle up the hill from Gwaelod y Garth. Yes, and Badger Botherer, Badger Botherer, one says, there used to be a 136 bus up the hill to Pentach from Gwaelod y Garth, or you could walk along the pass through Coed y Bedu woodland. Right, yeah, I don't know that area very well, but I do know, first time I went to Pentach, I actually did get a bus. I got a bus from central Cardiff to Pentach. And of course, this time I got Kaz picked me up from the service station, and to get back there, I basically got a lift from Kaz's. Luckily, someone could give us a lift back there from Kaz's in the night, because the bloody friggin' taxis are useless. Lemsip says again on Pentach Skywatch, some travelling advice. Get an open train ticket to avoid going to London, then you aren't tying down to that to get to the set services. Yeah, Lemsip, you mentioned that trains are prohibitively expensive, and they are actually. However, in this particular instance, I managed to get a cheap super off-peak ticket, £37. The taxi would have been £30 or more, so I didn't get the taxi. I walked, saving that money. £2 on the bus. It literally less than £10 more than it would have cost me anyway, and I got home 2 hours early. So yeah. Book into a hotel on a bus route to avoid taxi fares. There are hotels in Corrytown, Tongwynlais, and a 1-3 bus goes through there. There's also a 136 bus to Pentach. Thanks, Lemsip. You know, I should actually have got into the Travelodge, maybe in the Central Travelodge or something. Would have been easier rather than that. You see, I chose that one because it's closest to Pentach. I planned my entire trip around getting taxis. However, I didn't know that it wouldn't be possible to get a taxi because the taxi service is useless. So I certainly won't be staying at that service station again. Definitely not. Badger Botherer 1 says, I used to catch the 136 bus from Cardiff through Pentach to my parents' village a mile further along in Craigie. I wonder if my family around there saw anything. Unfortunately, both Mum and Dad have passed away now. I'm sorry to hear that, Badger. But if there are any extra witnesses, I'm very interesting to know. Pentach Skywatch. Paul Armstrong said, seems like a right palaver, that mine. Surely Kaz could have put you up. If ever you come to my town for an event, I put on you would be provided a bed and breakfast gratis. Well, as it happens, Paul, I didn't know this actually when I made arrangement, but Kaz had arranged some space on the local green for tents. There's like a little green. There's like a green space in Pentach where people can camp. You can get permission to camp there. If I'd known that, and it's my fault, I should have asked her, I'd have brought my tent with me. Kaz even has her own tent. She offered to lend me when I arrived. So that's what I'll do next time. I will definitely do that next time. I won't, if Kaz can make the same arrangement next time, I'll do the same thing again. Same video. Pierre Robertson said, thanks for your video, Ben. You get about, don't you? All the best. Oh, thanks, Pierre. You know, I do. You're getting a love heart for that. I do. I used to get around more, but I'm getting around less now because of the lockdown. But hopefully I'll go back to getting around more. I really do. Jake Yorkman says on Pentach Skywatch, I love the video, mate. Love the attitude of what will be also. What will be also. Oh, thanks, Jake. Most people would let the taxi not turning up get to them, but you turn into a positive. Thanks, Jake. Yeah, I mean, I did in the end. I actually, it came out I was quite pleased, actually. It was quite good fun what I did. And I feel very empowered. The crafty nihilist. Next time, give us a box tunnel shout out. Mark was working from home. He would have heard you. Oh right, I just yelled out, didn't I? But yes, I was quite close to the crafty nihilist because they live near the box tunnel. I didn't know if they wanted me to say anything because they may not want that revealed. But Crafty has just said they've just said themselves they live near the box tunnel. So I would have mentioned it if I'd known you didn't mind. But yeah, I did go through the box tunnel. And I was thinking, crafty nihilist is just above my head. Sorenable said on Penta Skywatch. Good trip, Ben. Oh, it was Sorenable. Thanks, mate. It was very good. I really had fun, mate. I really had. I had such good fun. Lovely weather. I mean, I don't care that we didn't see any like really significant UFO evidence. It wasn't the end of the world. I don't care. I wouldn't have cared if we saw nothing at all. Ben, mate, I really enjoyed the walk through the countryside, but I can't help feeling that your friends in Wales could have looked after you a bit more in terms of driving you around. Pride and dignity, brother. Hey, what? Gary, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but look, they were really good. Kaz picked me up from the service station. Another lady drove us back. It was me and the three others in the car, drove us back to the service station. Kaz also made arrangements for, like I said, she made arrangements with the village authorities for people to camp on the village green. Now, she got permission. I didn't know that at the time. So I think they looked after us very well indeed. Penta Skywatch, Nappa's Quest. Quite the adventure there, Ben. Nice one. Funny how some things work out for the best. They do, you know. I mean, it is. It's one of these things that starts off as a bit of a problem and then it gets kind of, what's the word? It becomes kind of like a fun thing, you know. If you don't make a drama out of a crisis, you can sometimes find some good things. And I feel empowered. I've said, sod the taxi, I'm going to walk. I walked, got the bus to Central Cardiff, got a train ticket for only a little bit more than what the taxi would have cost, and got back home to Oxford 2.25 hours earlier than I would have if I'd caught the coach. Hamish Fisher says on Penta Skywatch, great video, mate. Would love to go to Penta next time. I'm back in the UK and Rendlesham, for that matter. Kaz is such a credible witness, and be great to meet her too. I'd be happy to drive as I'd rent a car. Let me know if you fancy a road trip. Would be great to go with you, as you know both areas so well, and finally meet you. Hope to be back in July 2022 for my 50th. That would be awesome. Oh, thanks, Hamish. I'll give you a love heart for that. Yeah, if you introduce yourself to Kaz, she's a really nice lady, and she's, you know, if you like a genuine person, she'd be lovely. She'd be glad to meet you. She's very sociable, and yeah, the idea of a road trip and going there for next year what is next year? July 2022. Hopefully, the lockdown will be over by then. Yeah. Charles Unleashed says on Peter Paget, a reply to Steve Mumbling, a new video. Ben, aren't you forgetting something? It took me 3 years. 3 bloody years to get the wood chipper clause waived. You are forgetting Charles. That's not wise, considering me. Moll is on your case now. Oh, Moll, is that Jilly? Yeah, yeah, Peter Paget, yeah, the wood chipper thing, right, yeah. Still no email from Steve Mumbling. I will check my emails again. Let's just check my private email. I didn't give him my private email address, actually. But I don't think I did. I think I gave him my public one. But I'll check that later. But no, he's not exactly rushing up to the... he's not actually rushing up to the podium, is he, to debate me? Never mind, I'm patient. Charles Unleashed says, no such thing as skeptics. This is on Peter Paget again. No such thing as skeptics. Sorry, question mark. No such thing as skeptics. Ben, you're bounding over your steps. You're treading in the wrong feet. Charles and Mrs. Charles are on your case now. Nowhere left to run. Oh my God, I've got 2 of you now, have I? Bloody heck. Yeah, there are such things as skeptics, of course. Yeah. Sue Haywood Tonkin, a countrywoman of Steve, says, this mumbling bloke sounds like a drongo to me. Makes sense he's in Western Australia. Lots of dry desert over there. Well, Sue, I'm very glad you got the nullarbor between you two. I'll tell you, otherwise the fur would fly, wouldn't it? Diego Vera says on Peter Paget, ask Steve Mumbling where he's hidden the bodies and to stop blaming the dingoes. Oh, that's naughty. That's naughty. Diego Rivera is actually making a joke there. I don't know if Steve will appreciate the humour. He'll get that joke. It refers to the rather questionable case of Azaria Chamberlain, a little baby that disappeared. The parents, fingers were pointing at the parents because they said, "Oh, a dingo grabbed the baby." But when the police turned up, they couldn't find any evidence of any dingo, so they arrested her. She went to jail. She was released on appeal, but the mother, Lindy Chamberlain, was originally convicted of the murder of the child. Yeah, but she's been released on appeal now. Yeah. Blue Wool. Oh, Blue Wool says, "I've been mumbled." Yes. Yes, Steve did drop your name, didn't he, Blue Wool? Yeah. You have been mumbled. You've joined the club of the targets of the mumbler. Yes, same video. Sorenable says, "I can't wait for the mumbling and the great white hope of Europe, Ben Jones, ding ding, to chat." Yes, I have a feeling it's going to be very interesting. Just hope it's not on late GMT. Also, Ben, I've been asking Mumbling to take a look at the Travis Walton case over the last 6 months. Oh, he has mentioned it, I think. And every time he replies, he keeps putting it off, saying that he thought he'd heard somewhere that the case was proven a smoking pile of S. But still, he says he'll take a look at it soon. To conclude, Ben, he thinks that Mumbling can't disprove the TW case because it's a true fact. Oh, Sorenable, he will try. He will try. I mean, a lot of people do doubt it. I mean, Charles Unleashed doubts it. He'll probably draw a lot on Charles Unleashed, but I don't think the mumbler. I've looked at the people who dispute the Travis Walton case. A lot of them draw on Philip Klass, who was caught trying to manipulate evidence and bribe witnesses. So I doubt he can. But, well, give him a chance, give him a try, let him see how he gets on. Jack Parker says in reply to comments 41, here we go, oh my goodness me. Stand by for the old, lateral thinking cogs in gear, yes. Let's not look at the subjective monster, whereby race demographics are considered predestined, right? Indigenous populations can evolve in a free world. Well, yeah, I mean, I'd like to see that, Jack, and I'm glad you understand that because I know you're black. But yeah, race demographics are, the fact is that when you move populations artificially around, you get problems, and the problems the Illuminati who are doing it want those problems basically. That's why they're doing it. Jack Parker, eugenics gets to be the next thing in line when we consider who should be and where. Yeah, that is inevitably going to happen. I mean, or that inevitably would happen if the New World Order have their way. They will want to. They're already doing it now, I think, with things they're putting in V words. But they want basically certain people to reproduce and others not to. Reply, same video, Jack Parker. It's reply to comments 41, that's quite an old one. Let's not look through subjective eyes at the monster of subjective royal bloodlines. You mean the reptilian ones, yeah. Jack Parker, that monster lies within all of us. Speak for yourself, mate, I'm not a reptilian. We have to allow the natural process of cultural and racial by chance evolution. Otherwise, we taint the population with errors that were allowed subjectively to persist. Just be healthy enough to breed without looking over shoulder at other free souls for comparison. Yeah, I think we do have to allow people to live their own lives, and that includes their family planning. It does. I don't believe the problem is what we have at the moment essentially is we do have a form of eugenics. We do have a process of controlled breeding, in many by the it's all part of a manoeuvring of people around the world. I said this, but this is what I debated with David Smith. He says, "Oh, you worry about you don't want you don't want people like falling in love and things like that, and choosing who they fall in love with. Of course, people are going to fall in love with you. You're going to fall in love with people. Some people will fall in love with people of other nationalities, other races, because we have mass communications and travel now. But what we're seeing in the world today is being deliberately forced on us. That's the thing. I mean, I myself am a product of this. My mother was a Dutch woman. My father was Bristol Welsh, which means I'm kind of a half-breed between the Netherlands and Wales. Now, if you go back a few centuries, that's unlikely ever to have happened. It's unlikely you would get that, because people hardly ever travel. So it's unlikely that a man and a woman from the Netherlands and Wales would meet and to have a child. So a child with my genetics would never exist. That's inevitably going to happen. The problem is it's being forced. Do you see what I mean? It's a deliberate policy. Jack Parker, my goal is to strengthen you, not to scorn the essence of your being. Bear with. Well, thank you, Jack. I mean, I want us to be strengthened, all of us. Jack says here, the Royals in Space joke. Royals in space. They come from the fifth dimension, not space. And Hugo Rune says, there's no such thing. I know, all right. That's bringing into every time I say something like that, I trip up some other commenter. They're so possibly spoiled and touchy. Just a friendly wave could set them off to annihilate someone. I don't know about that. They have a reptilian mind, and the reptilian mind tends to work on a very, very sort of subconscious level, a very sort of like what's the id level, the instinct level. Peter Pagic to reply to Steve mumbling, and the man himself breaks his silence. He's back on my channel. Mick West is quite right about the tic-tac. Did you see my video showing the numbers work for his explanation? I think I might have. Let's have a look. Hang on. Well, I have. Yeah, it's actually been bookmarked at 2 minutes. So yes, I have. I don't remember, though. I think this was a while ago I actually watched this, Steve. But I know it's to do with the figures on the head-up display. I know. And Steve actually says here, these are numbers taken from the head-up display of the aircraft involved. If you can't manage a bit of simple trig, perhaps you could get Miles Johnstone to help you. Apparently he's a broadcast engineer, so should have a little trouble with it. The numbers mean Thunderfoot is wrong. They don't work for 8,000 feet. Also, Thunderfoot says it's a duck. It's not going to be a bird, as the target is colder than the seawater. The bird in flight is going to be burning many calories. The display is set for black equals hot. The target is white, so it's colder than the sea in the background. The aircraft travels 1.64 miles during the 20-second track. And the aircraft heading and angle of the tracking pod shows the aircraft is flying around the object. It also shows the object is moving very slowly, if at all. It is most likely to be a balloon. This is research, not enthusiasm. Well, Steve, I know that's Mick West's hypothesis. Thunderfoot also. The difference is Thunderfoot and Mick West come up with two different figures for those calculations. As Charles Scott rightly points out, that indicates there is the actual accuracy of that method is disputed. It's disputable. We also have now we have Alex Dietrich speaking out. We've got Sean Cahill on the Princeton, who just said that something that wouldn't, if it would have been some kind of balloon, you wouldn't get that kind of response. Yeah. So what we are doing is research. I believe we are doing that as research. Maybe we'll get onto that when we finish debating the fake alien invasion. Steve Mumling's back again on Peter Paget. The chances of you going on a skywatch for one night and seeing something ET related is nil. Again, the woo-woo mindset. You're seeing what you want to see. I didn't see anything ET related at Warminster. I went on the ceremonial skywatch with the others. I remember Matthew Williams was there, and he brought along his night vision goggles, and I had a look through them. Very good that was. David Smith says, there was a light that came close then turned away. You can't rule out aliens, Steve. I didn't see that, yeah. Steve, did you? I mean, when you were sky watching there with Peter Paget. By the way, I have been talking with Peter Paget. I'm in communication with him about this matter. I have had a reply from him about this. I'm not going to say anything because it's private correspondence, but just to let you know, I just want people to know I am in discussion with Peter Paget about this issue. I'm not going to repeat what he said, though. But when you were supposedly in Warminster, Steve, did you see anything like that? You told me you just spoke to the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker or something, and they said, oh, no, it's a load of rubbish. Presumably you weren't in the town hall on August the 15th, 1965, were you? Steve Mumbling says, I saw a forward stuck in the mud the other day. Of course, I can't rule out it was an alien that put it there. A forward, is that a truck or something? You can't rule it out, but I mean, you see, I don't think people just make things up about aliens just like that, you know, Steve. I mean, very few ufologists do that. Charles Unleashed said, I trained him well. TK said, but Ben meditated too and said, please show yourself, so the chances are very much enhanced. You should be putting this comment on the sky, on the Penta Skywatch, because I did say that. I just said, please, I did ask the objects flying over, you know, do something now, just so you can prove to me that you're not satellites. And it didn't happen. TK, basic UFOs night watching stuff, Steve. Don't you know anything? Tony Topping can just imagine a UFO up from nowhere. TK, I've been with Tony when these things have appeared, and they vary in brightness, they change course, they don't just go in a straight line. It's not a laughing matter, honestly. Steve Mumbling, TK, he must have paid Greer 50 quid for an ET summoning course. Well, yeah, you know, he didn't actually. We were on St Anne's Beach in 2007. TK to Steve Mumbling, summoned from billions of miles away by the Topping. Just like that when they arrive. Just like that they arrive. Well, where they come from, I don't know, TK, but they appear all right. Yeah, they are there all right. Steve Mumbling on Peter Paget. The space shuttle guy used the expression alien spacecraft because it would have caused an international incident if he had said Russian or Chinese. It was supposed to be, Steve, it was supposed to be on an encrypted channel where it wouldn't have mattered. As I said, he knew it wasn't American, so he described it as alien. That was most likely part of his pre-mission brief. They knew missions for the NSA, NRO would likely draw attention from Russia, etc. I addressed this point in the video, Steve. Besides, how do you know? How do you know that was part of the brief? How do you know that was part of the lingo, or the codes they were using? Can you give me some information on that? David Smith says in reply, even so, it has to be taken in context as well. Officially, like on ID cards, they use the term alien. But the current media narrative, the word alien is meant as extraterrestrials. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I hardly ever see the word alien used for any other purpose now, although I know it's still used in officialdom. I remember the Clive James in Japan thing. That's very funny, that, yeah. Conspiracy theorists have a habit of taking things out of context. Well, so far... Listen, David, so far, I haven't seen any other context, though. Steve's made an assertion that alien spacecraft has another meaning in the lingo of the mission control and an astronaut dialogue. He hasn't provided any evidence for that. He claims it's part of his mission brief. He hasn't provided any background information for that. So I haven't detected any, even though I've been researching this particular incident. This is why Ben can't understand how skeptics think. He imbues meaning when it isn't there and claims it as evidence. Well, David, I don't understand how skeptics think, even though I have made an effort to as part of my research project, as you know if you watch my skeptic videos. But I don't believe I'm imbuing meaning when it's not there. I'm listening to a guy talk about alien spacecraft. Alien spacecraft, what does that mean? Apparently it means something that's not extraterrestrial. How do you know? Oh, well, Steve Mumbling says it's part of his pre-mission brief, most likely. That's, in a sense, I think Steve is the one here imbuing meaning when it isn't there. David carries on. When you, Ben, say Boris has been strong-armed due to his family being held hostage, you said you have no real evidence of this, and then want to talk about how Boris had changed his stance on things. Yeah, no, it was a supposition. I agree with that. What you're doing is putting the cart before the horse. I could just as easily say he changed his stance because he bumped his head one night. Well, that's another possibility, but it's less likely. I was speculating, I admit that, and I'm not saying there's any evidence, but it's just what I'm saying is that is a way that shadow governments often use. That's a method shadow governments often use, David, to control heads of state. It's a method they often use, and it's possible they used it on Boris. It would explain his transformation in personality and political stance. Both claims have zero evidence, so I refer you to the answer I just gave. The fact he changed his stance isn't evidence anymore, and say someone going vegan is evidence militant vegans have kidnapped their family. Well, not really. Well, it would... No. Someone going vegan, there's a reason why someone would go vegan. They're concerned for their health. They're concerned for animal cruelty. There's a reason why... It doesn't mean someone's kidnapped their family. If a prime minister becomes prime minister on one ticket and then he suddenly starts changing his entire political stance, what's the reason for that? You see, that's what I'm doing. I'm just asking that question. You need to provide actual evidence of the claim, not simply another claim when you think accounts for this behaviour. You're just stacking up claims on claims. No, I'm giving a theoretical model about why Boris Johnson has transformed. He went from something very good to something very bad. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, David. I think there would be something wrong with it if I pretended that there was physical evidence for this. Well, I know there's not. I never pretended there is. TK says, how much do them pesky militant vegans want to guarantee the release? Maybe they've kidnapped their family because their own family's been kidnapped. The world is full of kidnappers. TK, man, just keep eating those burgers, mate. Oh, God, here's another long one from Steve. I saw from David Smith on Peter Paget. As you say, Ben, wrong. Skeptics don't want to believe there are no aliens and ghosts, etc. That's exactly not the definition of skepticism. I'm not aware of anyone who promotes skepticism who fosters that attitude. Well, David Smith, as I've explained before now several times why I don't agree. The evidence is there in my video called Skeptics 2018. It's a long 4-hour one. There's another one called Truth Seekers Northeast number 5, which is a shorter but more updated version of that talk. And I explain exactly why, when it comes to the definition of skepticism and the realities of the skeptic movement, you do find that. And you say you're not aware of anyone who promotes skepticism that fosters that attitude. I'm sure you're not aware of anyone who will admit that, but I mean, as I explained in those videos, skeptics don't understand themselves. As a skeptic myself, I would love for aliens to be visiting us, or for ghosts or an afterlife to be reality. It sucks we die. It sucks we're confined to a planet with a huge inequality and guardians of the status quo keeping billions of people in perpetual suffering for their own selfish gain. I'm not referring to the NWO. All right. Well, you say, well, I agree with what you said in that sentence, and I am referring to the NWO, but yeah. But, as I said, I think ghosts are real, the afterlife is real, aliens are visiting us, you see, and I explain why. You see, this is the point. I do put forward a hypothesis. I put forward an axiom in that area by making these videos, and I welcome skeptics like yourself to explain why I'm wrong. And I don't think I'm wrong about skeptics. I think you what you're doing is you have your own version of what a skeptic is, and you take it very literally, like skeptics do. However, what I see skeptics doing is not like that. Look at the example of the SGU number 12, SGU 10. I think it was SGU 10. I talk about it in the skeptic video. Okay. The guy who says he said to his daughter he would indoctrinate her into non-belief. How does your definition of a skeptic match that? Indoctrinate someone into non-belief. The father said that he would literally he said that in order to maintain the skeptic worldview, you have to suspend rationality, science, and logic. Do you see what I mean? And that is a massive admission. Please watch that video if you haven't already. Put a comment on there. But because please, if you watch that video, just watch the video and just comment on there, and I'll address the points you make. All we're doing is asking for good quality evidence of the claims being made. No, you're not. You see, you're not. You see. If anyone could prove aliens have been to Earth or something paranormal was possible, why does nobody do it? Well, they do, you see. Why did nobody get the $1 million from the JREF or the 100,000 from others offering money for good evidence? Check out the George Simpson lawsuit, David. I referred to it in the video. Please do watch that video if you haven't already. Why can't you reply without referring to the long video about skepticism? It really shouldn't take that long to explain what's wrong with skepticism. I have replied as best I can. In the time a lot when I'm to answer your question, when I'm doing a comments reply video here, and there's many other people who want answers, David. I can't sit here and concentrate on you the whole time. I referred to the video you're talking about because it answers these questions. What it does, I'm referring you away from this video to somewhere where I can essentially explain in more detail an answer to the point you make over a period of several hours, which I can't spare you 2 hours right now, mate. I can't. There's nothing wrong with me referring you to this long video. That's the point. Why do you have a problem with me doing that? You say it wouldn't take long to explain what's wrong. Well, yes, it does. There are no soundbite answers to this, David. Please watch those videos and put a comment, and put the comments on the videos. I'm happy to enter into dialogue with you on this subject. I'd love that. If you just watch the videos and see what you think. Just tell me what you think. Same video, David Smith again. Extraordinary claims do require extraordinary evidence, Ben. Simply scoffing and repeating some others saying isn't refuting that. Where is the extraordinary evidence? Okay, well, look. How many extraordinary points do you want? You have to quantify these things. How many extraordinary points does the claim have? How many extraordinary points does the evidence have? You see, extraordinary is simply a subjective statement. It doesn't mean anything. Again, I explain this in my skeptic video. Please do go and watch it. BZ Garson says, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence was a phrase made popular by Carl Sagan, who reworded Laplace's principle, which says the weight of evidence for an extraordinary claim must be proportioned to its strangeness. Yeah, well, that's a much better statement because it does essentially quantify the whole thing rather than simply making it subjective. Exactly, it must be proportioned to its strangeness. Funny enough, that was exactly what I said. Something very similar when I tackled Carl Sagan's catchphrase. Again, be said, it's all in my skeptic videos. And oh my god, it's a long one by David Smith here on the same video. Right. You are confusing pseudo-skepticism with skepticism, Ben. Oh, we're getting somewhere now, David. All right, we're getting somewhere now. Because that's something I bring up in my skeptic video. Maybe you have watched it now. I don't know. It really is that simple. Why is Sam Harris, one of the greatest skeptics you yourself quite lightly refer to him as, is willing to address the issue of UFOs? I'd argue Sam Harris is a skeptic, and not a pseudo-skeptic like you describe. So right there you have what a skeptic is as an example. Someone ready to have their minds changed by evidence, one of the most important parts of skepticism, which is completely different to the pseudo-skepticism you argue against. All right. Well, you know, I actually agree with you on that, David. The problem is it's just different terminology. When I refer to skeptics in my skeptic videos, right, I am essentially referring to what you call pseudo-skeptics. I mean, thing is, Sam Harris does sometimes exhibit pseudo-skeptic tendencies. Not as much as the others, but he still does. I think where we would differ is the proportion of pseudo-skeptic attitude to skeptic within the skeptic movement. Personally, after listening to Sam Harris on a lot of different topics for a number of years, I think he's just jumping on the bandwagon a wee bit here. I don't think so. Sam Harris doesn't jump on the... Sam Harris has got into an awful lot of trouble because the wokists, the skeptic wokists, hate him. I mean, in the atheo-skeptic world, there's like a civil war going on right now between the kind of conservative libertarian types and the sort of left-wing wokists. Micah Media talks about this. In fact, in the long version of my Skeptic Talk, the 2018 Skeptic Studio version, I go into that in more detail. I skip it in the Truth Seekers Northeast version. I doubt very much he's a believer or will ever side with people claiming aliens are visiting the Earth. But if he does that, it would be interesting. It's like with a lot of other people I follow, I don't agree with any of them 100%. So this would be just one more thing potentially. Kind of like that's why you watch me, isn't it, David? Yeah. Oh, this is Rational Wiki now. From Rational Wiki. Pseudo-skepticism is most often used as a loaded term by woo promoters to dismiss skeptical criticism of their beliefs as unfounded. Some promoters of woo maintain that demanding evidence before accepting an idea is an extreme position. Well, I don't. That's as always with Rational Wiki. They're being very they're using a lot of rhetoric and they're misrepresenting the woos, and feel we should be all agnostic about, well, everything. Given the difficulty of absolutely disproving even the most absurd hypothesis, then they go on to maintain that those who ask for evidence are pseudo-skeptics. Okay, that is a misrepresentation, total misrepresentation. Consequently, these woo promoters try to claim the high ground by calling themselves open-minded. The intent is to draw a contrast with the scientific establishment as closed-minded for demanding actual evidence. Again, false. That is a typical skeptic's lack of introspection there. An example, Skepcop, that's Winston Woo's chat. He's called Winston Woo, which is very appropriate, I guess. Maintains that pseudo-skeptics will never accept a paranormal explanation that includes metaphysical dimensions because they believe it's impossible. I think that's actually true in many cases. I think Winston is right there. It would be interesting to see what they think of the scientific method and methodological naturalism, as these don't necessarily not believe in paranormal explanations. Instead, once you've explained something paranormal or metaphysical, it ceases to be paranormal or metaphysical. All right. And becomes a part of normal naturalistic reality. Okay, so that's another area finished. I'll carry on here before I start the new hour. A testable hypothesis. We see... That's true, actually. Paranormal essentially means something we don't understand yet, yeah. Lightning used to be paranormal before we realised it was electric discharges. A testable hypothesis, mere implausibility, is enough to utterly reject it. It is not enough to utterly reject it, correct. But many such hypotheses, such as homeopathy or dowsing, have nonetheless been scientifically tested and rejected. I think homeopathy I can grant you there. Dowsing, no. There's a lot more with dowsing. Apart from its contradiction of established science... Oh, what do you mean? Contradiction of established science? Those very words contradict in itself what was said above. There is no logical reason to declare that. For example, homeopathy wouldn't work since world, blah-de-blah-de-blah, memory, etc., etc. One atom in a million tons of water, etc. Okay, are logically possible. But double-blind tests show that the chemical argument against homeopathy to be valid. In this sense, the question of skepticism or pseudo-skepticism is moot. Well, I have to agree there with that bit. But apart from that, I think this quote from Rational Wiki is just typical of the skeptics' inability to look in the mirror and see themselves as they honestly are. Anyway, time for another segment, another break, and then another segment. Okay, hour number 3 now. Here we go. So, David Smith says on Peter Paget, you could say there is a skeptic movement, maybe. Well, yeah, I mean, it's odd that people don't even... people dispute that. They say, oh, there's no such thing as a skeptic movement. I mean, what? What, 150 skeptics in the pub branches across the world, no skeptic movement. TAM London, QED, these other skeptic conferences, no skeptic movement. What? Well, yeah, I'm glad you agree there's a skeptic movement. I'm not sure if I'm in it, but all groups have infighting at some point. Yeah, I think you are in it based on what you said, David. I'm not aware of any war between skeptics, though. Oh, have a look at Micro Media and his talk on Atheism Plus. Look at the dispute between Rebecca Watson and Sargon of Akkad. Look at was it Elevator Gate. There is a war between skeptics, David. Maybe when you say you're outside the skeptic movements, you don't really take much interest in skeptic culture and skeptic politics, which is probably a good thing, actually. Disagreements happen all the time, of course. As long as we agree on some core basics, then in my experience, it's not much of an issue. But then again, I'm not in the movement, so I could be wrong. Did you witness much fighting when you went to Skeptics in the Pub event? None at all, actually, at Skeptics in the Pub events. Everyone was very happy. Even when they recognised me, they were very nice. Because I do go in disguise to some of them, but then I stopped after a while. People sort of knew who I was and they didn't mind. David Allen Green even came over and said hello. Anyway, he goes on. Now, conspiracy infighting. We've seen from the videos on your channel can get pretty nasty. You're not kidding there, Dave. Yeah. Still, wouldn't call it a war, but I can see how religions develop so many offshoots due to them all having slightly different varying beliefs. Yeah, I mean, I think that's not an unfair comment. I think that it is somehow very zealous and it's very cultic the way these people behave. The trolls of various kinds. And of course, so I'm not saying it's just a skeptic thing, David. The conspirasphere is just as bad. It's probably worse, actually. This is what happens when it's not based on reality. Any interpretation of events or claims or actions can be turned into almost anything. The thing is, it's not so much facts that people fight over. It's personalities. It's accusations. Look, have you seen my Shill Squad videos? My about tribunals and things like that. I even brought this up recently. Yeah, it tends to be not so much things as people. The skeptic movement doesn't fight over again, with the skeptic movement, they don't fight over issues to do with science or anything like that. They fight over the political side of things. They fight over political stances within the skeptic movement about how closely it should be associated with feminism and things like that. So yeah, it's almost funny enough. It's like a mirror world, actually. Even a skeptic who went to a conspirasphere conference actually said that. They say it's like a mirror world, and they're right. Peter Paget. Charles Unleashed said, Charles is very happy that the Emlyn-Jones yin-yang team are back together. Very happy indeed. I don't know what you mean by back together, Charles. I've never debated him live before, but yeah, but I'm happy he's commenting again. That's always fun. And I'm looking forward to our live interaction as much as anyone else. TK says on Peter Paget, praise be the Lord, for thou hath replied to Steve of Mumblings. Yes. I think these videos are quite popular, aren't they? So maybe I'll do another one. David Smith says, once again, with regards to people earning money from the UFOs, your books aren't being sold as non-fiction, so I don't see any issues with that. It's when people make fantastical claims that the world needs to know and then charges for that, it concerns me. And as for people being able to earn more doing something else, like selling insurance, perhaps they just prefer to do something with UFOs. Yeah, I think we brought this up before. If it's within their, if it's something they enjoy and something they like, then yeah. But the thing is, I think what you're claiming here is that people who do that are essentially grifting. They like UFOs, so they try to make money out of UFOs. But they say things which they know are not true. Now, it's impossible to know for sure how many of them actually believe that things they say and how much things they believe they don't. I know a lot of these books I think are written with sincerity. Even the ones which I myself would have to agree with you are fantastical and make claims which I don't think are true. Even some of those are made with sincerity. I mean, Zecharia Sitchin devoted his entire life over a period of almost 50 years to writing, I think it was 16 books in the end. I tried reading the first one, and I really couldn't get into it. I really couldn't. I'm not saying it's not true, it's just I couldn't understand it. But does this mean Sitchin did that just to make money? I mean, I don't know how much money he made. But if you spend 50 years doing something, Either it's very lucrative and you're making a fortune, so you keep doing it, or you just love it and you believe in what you're doing. David continues, they may well find it an easier life to earn less doing that than they would finding another way to earn money. Even if it meant a pay rise, that still doesn't get them off the hook simply because they might be able to earn more money doing something else. I suppose not really. Nevertheless, it comes to whether they mean it or not. We have to judge their motives. Now, I know from reading these books a lot during the course of my life, I've read hundreds. A lot of them I think are true. A lot of them they deal with real information. Some don't. Some I believe are not true. But this doesn't necessarily mean that the author is making it up. Right, nothing as it seems, says on Brexit Referendum Day 2021 live stream. Would love to hear your perspective on the breaking news McAfee. Oh, nothing. I think I mentioned that, didn't I? Yes, the bloke who hanged himself, didn't he? Like Jeffrey Epstein, yes. And I said that came up on HPANWO Radio this evening. Yeah, it also came up actually on the live stream. Nothing as it seems. Thanks, Ben. First I caught the HPANWO Radio. All right, I hope you enjoy it, Nothing, if you want to listen. I hope you enjoy it. I really do. You know what? I'm actually down to 2 days ago. We're getting through these quickly. Dedrick Ravenhill, Mystery Sword Merchant, 1968. Ben, what is your opinion on Russia firing warning shots at the British Navy? Good night, Ben. Well, the British deny they did it. The Russians have published information showing that they did. I've not watched RT or anything on this, because the thing about the BBC, I don't believe are a fair source. We don't know exactly what the situation is. According to the BBC, HMS Defender was transiting a completely open, established shipping lane. At the same time, we know that Russia, ever since the 19th century, actually, Russia has been involved in territorial water disputes. It's been claiming water as its own, various seas as its own territory against international law. So they claim certain seas which are not recognised internationally. And sometimes there's been trouble with that over the various trouble they've had over various nations using those waters, where Russia challenges them and said, "Oh no, those are our waters," and they say, "No, this is public, mate." So you have a kind of these are public waters. So you get a kind of very violent sort of maritime Charlie Veitch versus security guards kind of dispute, which does result in shots being fired sometimes. But if you believe British media, well, you just keep Russia. You get that Russia are these horrible people. They're like these gay bashers and computer hackers and poisoners and dangerous pilots and things like that. When is that fair? Or are they just trying to start another Cold War? My interviews with Nick Colostrum, I think, indicate that this is a specific plan to demonize Russia because of the Nord Stream pipeline, because of the fact that Putin won't accept an IMF loan, all kinds of things like that. That's why they're trying to make out Russia are the bad guys all the time. Do you remember that submarine? Oh, they're so close. A Russian submarine came close to British shores. Well, this submarine was on the surface. It was transiting the Straits of Dover along an established shipping lane on the surface with a navigation beacon. It was just going somewhere, man. It wasn't attacking us. It wasn't spying on us. BZ Garson said they missed. Jim Skim Pivot, they didn't. BZ Garson did. Oh, this is like a pantomime now. BZ, no, the Russians merely shadowed the ship. They also released a film of it, but curiously omitted to show any live discharges. All right. Well, maybe they didn't fire warning shots. Either way, no one was harmed. No ship was attacked. No sailors or F-board pilots were harmed. Brexit Referendum Day 2021 live stream. BZ Garson. I loved the way Ben uses globalist as a pejorative. Well, is globalist a good thing? In what way is globalist good? I know there's some people who talk about the positives of globalism, meaning the industry and international trade and things like that. By default, all those who voted for Brexit are globalists. What? Oh. Remember the Leave slogan? Global Britain rammed down our throats during the Leave campaign. Stupid C word. Now, look, come on, man. Come on. They didn't mean... Oh, they said Global Britain. Global Britain is a slogan. Global Britain is... Yeah. Well, they didn't mean... It didn't mean that. It didn't mean globalism. Globalism is like a one world government. It meant the opposite. It meant a strong, independent nation, you know, interacting peacefully with other nations within the world for the prosperity of all. That's what they meant. That's what they meant. So it didn't mean it. So, global Britain is not pejorative. Global in that sense is not pejorative. Globalist or globalism is. You see what I mean? BZ Garson. Boris, Britain's Trump, a one-term MP. A PM, sorry, one-term PM. Well, we'll see about that, won't we, in 2024. Hugo Rune, 17 minutes adverts. Try Firefox browser, no ads. Oh, I don't mind ads, you know. I mean, this is reply to comments 34. All right. I don't know. I just click the skip button. It's not a bother. I'll try that. Maybe I'll try that. Hugo Rune. Actually, I hate your hat. It's American. This is on reply to comments 34. It's American. I hate America. Please no capitalizations there. You've been on the spliff again, haven't you? I think this, but the thing about this, Hugo, some American things are good. I'm a big fan of the United States. It's one of my favourite foreign countries. Hugo Rune again on the Prince Philip death live stream. Oh God, you're going through all my old videos again, aren't you? Hagbard Celine. Oh yes, that's my Hagbard Celine is my forum name. It's from Robert Anton Wilson. Sigh. Thanks for the memories. It's a long time since I read the Illuminatus trilogy. But yes, Hagbard was an amazing character. Yeah. Oh, Hugo, read. You might really like to get back into it because it's such a wonderful book. I could read it over and over. Brexit Referendum Day 2021 live stream. Ben on Rumble. Oh, right, yeah. Alex Ritchie has posted a link to my Rumble channel. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. I'll be going there in a minute actually to check my comments because I've had a few comments on Rumble already. Same video, Marky Boy. McAfee Ben suicided. Was talking about Gates and nanotech. A JAB plus AI future dystopia. Had a tattoo saying he would never kill himself. Lots going on there. Yeah, it's rather like Princess Diana writing that letter to Paul Burrell saying that Prince Charles is going to kill her in a car crash. You know what happens? She's in a car crash. Just a coincidence, nothing to worry about. But he was absolutely sure. McAfee was absolutely certain. So certain he did it. Even so, he put whacked, didn't he, on his arm as a tattoo. So even when he's lying on the slab in the PM, the pathologist will see it there, whacked. And then, of course, it's in the news. No, John McAfee commits suicide in his cell by hanging himself. Just like Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. I wonder what dirt he had on the Clintons, eh, Marky? I wonder what he knew. He probably was Bill Gates, yeah, and the Clintons, yeah. He probably had some real dirt on them for them to take him out like that, so obviously. I mean, obviously, because they know very well that any information he has is now going to more likely to be true because they killed him for it. Yeah. Starnock says on the same video, Joris Bonson is a professional scapegoat who is employed to divert attention from the hidden hand. The government is more a public relations interface for the unelected psychopathic elite. I agree with the second bit, but Boris Johnson is not willingly a part of that. He's not willingly a part of it. He, I think, is being manipulated into being a part of it. Snarlock says, what will be next? The Antarctic variant or maybe the Devon Island variant? Yes. Well, Snarlock, if the Devon Island variant ever turns up on Earth, they'll say it came from Mars, won't they? As a little nod to Richard D. Hall, eh? Okay, same video, the crafty nihilist. Ben, you need to re-watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Elizabeth Taylor doesn't make an appearance. Jack Nicholson, however, is a legend. Oh, right. Yeah, this came up, didn't it? Because I was talking... The subject of the film One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest came along. Is that the one where Jack Nicholson's talking about... Oh, he talks about fluoride or something. No, that's Dr. Strangelove. But Jack Nicholson, there's one really amazing film where Jack Nicholson is like talking about conspiracies and things. Is that the film? Because I was thinking of something else. You see, I actually put a text reply here to Crafty Nihilist. I got it mixed up with the film Suddenly Last Summer. This has got Elizabeth Taylor in. It's where she has a mental breakdown and is admitted to hospital with a breakdown. She ends up in a psychiatric loony bin, basically. Yeah. JL, hi Ben, this is Jean-Luc. We met at Kaz's place that evening. I have a couple of questions I want to run by you. I'll hit you up on Twitter. Hey JL, please do. I don't remember you specifically, but I probably will if I see you. It was good, wasn't it? It was a great evening. Thanks for getting in touch. Ado FTW says on notice of upcoming live stream. Oh, right. I haven't deleted this yet. That's fine. That's fine. I normally delete these things. All right. So I've already replied to these videos. I've already replied to those. Actually, I'll just check. I'm just going to check that I have actually replied to all the comments, because I should have deleted that because the live stream's gone ahead now, hasn't it? Here we go. Let's have a look. Just double check. Yep. Okay. I can delete that video now. To make sure I delete the right one, because I never actually delete the notices until the actual original video is up. It's this one here. Delete forever. Notice of upcoming live stream 26/6/21. Delete forever. Yeah, just double check of deleting the right one. Okay, so thank you all of you for taking part in that. UFO Disclosure 2021 UAPTF report vigil. Diego Vera 2 Genius 2. How many different species of aliens do you know of? Maybe do a video on their different characters like Richard D. Hall did in the past. Maybe you could include the Geordie Grey. All right. Yeah, well, there are many. There's virtually a taxonomy now of different species that are seen all over the world. Different people of different places in the world actually see the same things, which is odd. Which leads to the question is, well, if they're all in our imagination, how is that possible? But there's like the Nordics, there's the Mantis, there's the Greys, there's several others, there's the Reptilians. Mary Rodwell has a really good... Mary Rodwell's videos actually are very good in that respect. Mary has gathered a vast array of different beings, and they seem to have a large number of different agendas. They seem to exhibit lots of different kinds of behaviours. And sometimes creatures of the same species can act very differently, as humans can. As for doing the Geordie Grey, yes, that was the Gateshead Grey. I think that was like a classic grey, according to the guy, the witness. Yeah, I mean, boosh! He hit him with a shovel. David's Splendid Isolation says, and all these supposed species are humanoid and or anatomically homogeneous to known Earth life. This heavily suggests they are related to the design of living things on Earth, instead of unrelated planets light years away. Maybe it's not that they're related to us, David. Maybe we're related to them. Or maybe the actual body plan is kind of like something universal which comes out of the laws of biology wherever it appears, which means you get like this body plan, you know, head, arms, legs, etc., all over the universe, because it's written into the laws of physics and how it applies to chemistry and biology. Diego Rivera, so maybe it was a real Geordie. Well, all Geordies are a bit alien, aren't they? The way they speak and things like that. David says, either way, there's a connection. Mr. Grey Owl says on UAPTF report vigil, does or did this video have a live chat, or did the GoogTube deem it too close to the truth? Mr. Grey Owl, this particular one didn't have a live chat. This wasn't a live stream. I did the UFO Disclosure 2021 UAPTF report vigil, basically the evening before I did the live stream. Mr. Grey Owl, nice discussion with broad spectrum final analysis. I dig. Oh, you're welcome, Mr. Grey Owl. Thank you for getting in touch, because I've received some emails from you. I appreciate that. I do. And now I can see the Dalai Lama. What's going on? Oh, dear. What's this? Oh, God, this is a long one. And this is David Smith. Oh my goodness me! It's the debate about free will. It's the debate about free will. Oh dearie me. David says here reasons for not accepting free will. I'm just going to read out the summaries, the title summaries, if you don't mind, David, because I could spend an hour. How long could one spend talking about this? Philosophers have been debating it since the time of Socrates. 1. Some people don't actually believe that their choices are made outside the scope of cause and effect. 2. Chemicals have unequivocal effects on our brains. 3. The most compelling evidence for determinism is the consistency of chemistry in general. 4. Decisions are not real things, they're behavioural models. 5. No physical theory has been given to explain free will. Good grief. And then Mr. Grey Owl, is Splendid Isolation going to say something? Oh, goodness me. Dearie me, I accidentally erased my counter-argument. I'll come back in a bit and take another look. Please stand by. BZ Garson. David, did you compose this? If so, well done. If not, please cite the source. Unlike Ben the researcher, who rarely cites his sources, easily done in the description box under his videos. The Dalai Lapa. Oh, my goodness me. I can see you now, Dalai. Now, this is one of the most impressive post-flexes. What's that? Impressive post-flexes I've seen in recent years. If I could read, I'm sure I would be even more impressed. KUTGW, yours sincerely, DL. All right, well, you can write even though you can't read. David Smith says to BZ, I copied it off the back of a box of cereal. Dalai, beautiful copy choice. I could almost see the Lipton's tea bag string dangling from your glass cup as you press post. Poetry, sheer bloody poetry. Yours respectfully, DL. P.S. At least you cite your sources, SAUCES, unlike some buxom truth beauties we could mention. All right, who's that, Dalai? Truth beauties. Well, if you mean Paola Harris, she's not bad. As I say, I like hot old ladies, but although I've argued with her terribly over issues. David Smith says, I can try posting this to studies supporting what I've said, but a lot of it is just using logic and reason with what we understand about how shared our reality operates. People can claim otherwise, but without solid logic or good evidence, it remains just that, a claim. You know, David, I'm tempted to do an entire video about this. I really am, but it would be so bloody long. Dalai Lapa says, I understand and sympathise, Mr. Smith. From my limited experience of this truth, ecology, logic, reason and understanding of how our reality operates, it's not the priority of it or its new paradigm preachers. The game, intentionally or otherwise, is to keep the conceptual or factual balls airborne, keeping all and any reasoned discourse away from those with a taste for such luxuries. Admittedly, there are some who stay for a while and some incapable of leaving, but make no mistake, Mr. Smith. There has never been and never will be any form of proof, conclusion or cathartic hand shandy delivered by the truth movement. Welcome to the adulation gravy train. Yours sincerely, TDL. Blue balls, class of 83, first class honours. P.S. She says, if you want the real truth dropped on you from a great height, the kind of truth that makes you reassess your place in the universe and your morning stool consistency, may I suggest Tony Topping? David Smith says to Dalai Lama, lol, thanks, I'll have to check him out. Oh dear, bloody hell, we're going to have to go, this is going to be a tricky one. I can't address the free will argument here. This, interestingly, if you didn't watch the live stream last night, the UAPTF report one, this is something that came up in the live chat box. Suddenly David Smith and David Splendid Isolation suddenly bring up the subject of free will. Does it exist or not? David Smith says no. David Splendid Isolation says yes. I say yes, there is free will too. Although David Smith has posted a series of reasons why he thinks not, which I'll have to consider, but not in this video, I'm afraid. Otherwise it will be longer than any comments reply video I've ever done. I did try to address it actually in the live stream. Where we are now. How are we doing for time, by the way? Because I'm nearly at the top now. Oh yeah. We're only 25 minutes into the third hour. I've got to do the other platforms, but we're nearly done with YouTube. Red Cap Goblin says, they admit nothing and beg for dollars. More lies and no truth to be had there. Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is they do admit something, but they admit it in a very roundabout way without actually saying the words. It's actually odd, you know. I mean, I was waiting for it to appear. I mean, as soon as I'd finished interviewing John Stewart, I went and checked, and yes, it was there, and I read it so that you don't have to. But on one level, it was a begging letter. There's no doubt about that. However, they do admit something. See, I mean, it's weird because it's been so carefully worded, yet it's full of very bad grammar, actually. Yet they really, especially like when they come onto like the other category of the 5 different segments, the different categories of UAP. They take an entire paragraph trying to avoid the alien word, or the A word, alien. I would say artifacts of artificial objects of non-human construction. AONHC. I came up with a new word. They try to avoid that. They do everything they can. They select as many carefully worded things that they can, and sentences and phrases and ideas to avoid saying that. UAPTF report livestream. Tessa, 9 pages of disappointment. Maybe hidden codes or backwards anagrams, but not having any hope. Well, not having any hopes. Well, Tessa, not exactly hidden codes or backwards anagrams. Not exactly, but there is a subtext to it, which I think is much more interesting than the actual document. I only picked it up when I read it the second time, actually, when preparing for the live stream. As I just said, you know, it's the other category of the 5 different categories of UAP. The way they sort of go round and around and about, they circle and they loop the loop, and they tiptoe and they squeeze themselves against the wall to avoid the AONHC hypothesis, or just saying AONHC is the most likely explanation, which is true. It is, isn't it? UFO Disclosure 2021, UAP Report Vigil, TK. Signature management is signal management, like stealth mode is on alarm cloaking device. Thanks very much, mate. Thanks for telling me. That's interesting yeah. BZ Garson, live stream, UAP live stream. Wales were thrashed 4-0 and took the knee when went. Oh, right. Well, if they took the knee, then fuck them. How could they do that? It's supposed to be Welsh. Report Vigil, TK. Yes. The people spending millions of dollars looking for aliens in the sky should definitely consider asking people like you, Ben, and Tony Topping, and maybe asking him to imagine up some UAPs. Have you tried emailing them to offer your skills with aliens? I'm not sure I want to work with those people, TK. But funny enough, they do. They have actually. This is interesting. This article came out where several people were claiming that they had been approached to themselves. Sam Harris says he claimed when he talked to Ricky Gervais that he was in touch with people on the inside. He'd been emailing them. Now, several other people have said this. Jeremy Corbell has made this claim. That's funny enough. Nothing else has come from this. Nothing else has happened. We've had no more information other than these people saying that, and that's interesting, isn't it? Because no one's contacted me. But if they did, I'm not sure what I would do, actually. I'm not sure. I think I would probably... they would never agree, because I would say, OK, I'll do it, but you have to release like the classified annex to the press. And they'll say, you can't do that. OK, so no deal then. But yeah, this is not the first time, actually, that ufologists have been approached in this way. Report Vigil, Steve Mumbling. Told ya! All right, Steve. Steve, before you go on a told you so trip, how many people actually said otherwise? How many people, very, very few people actually said, oh, it's going to be big T disclosure. They're going to release all the information about the Zeta Reticuli sport model. Oh, it's all going to be on the truth embargo's over. How many people actually said that, Steve? What are you telling us so about? Funny enough, this guy on Facebook said the same thing. TK said on... Oh, it's an old one. HPANWO TV guide to your census form. I love it you just used the name Ben on the form and then signed the form as Benjamin Jones. All right. Oh, did I? I can't remember that bit. Oh, Brief History of Mystery. Oh, thanks for commenting. This is a really great channel, actually. A Brief History of Mystery. I've been watching all this stuff, actually. Just got to the David Icke bit. I met Dave years ago. 6 of us in the audience before he started drawing bigger crowds. On was her right. On 5G and the C word. Obviously not. On the destruction of small to medium businesses. Oh, yes. Yeah, that's it. David, I'm glad you do. Yeah, I'm glad you do. Brief History of Mystery says Pope, lol, or with the lol signature there, or embarrassed signature on there. Yeah, but thanks for commenting. I'm glad you've subbed to me, which I really appreciate. Brief History of Mystery. I really like your channel. It's really cool. Okay, let's get on with the other platforms. We're going to go now to BitChute. Okay. Now, the live stream hasn't actually processed yet. I'm going to bloody delete it. It's not going to work. I don't know why this particularly doesn't work, but there you are. Just delete that. It's obviously not going to work. Right, UFO Disclosure 2021 Report Vigil. No comments. Brexit Referendum Day 2021 live stream. Ozteca says, good video, nice channel, Ben. Thank you very much, Ozteca. I mean, I'll leave a comment. I'll leave a reply comment here. But honestly, I know you're not going to get notifications. This is something BitChute needs to work on. BitChute's been becoming censorious as well, which is a shame. I'm sure this is not what Ray wants. I'm sure he must have been forced into it somehow, and I think that's really bad. But that's how that's happened anyway. Orseka says, royalty-free music for your videos, more than 400 tracks, various genres, soundtracks, drum bass, pop, ambient, synthwaves, with a blues, neoclassical, down-tempo, EDM, neurofunk, house, soul, and so on. And there's like a channel here. Okay, I think that's a bit of spam. Peter Paget replied to Steve mumbling. No comments. Penta Skywatch. John Doe says, oh, nice. I'd suggest getting away from YouTube, Ben. The censorship is crazy. I don't entertain it anymore. BitChute, Rumble, brand YouTube are definitely best options. Yeah, they are. And I mean, I don't like the way BitChute is going at the moment, because they're obviously they're not like YouTube. People have been compared to YouTube. They're not. But you know, Ray has been banning certain individuals and groups and channels on videos, etc., etc. And I can't believe he wants to do that. Because I've listened to interviews with Ray. Dave Cullen did an interview with him. On no account would he do that unless he really felt forced into it. And I know, because it's a British-based company. I've been to their offices, not inside, but I've been outside their offices. The government is really trying to squeeze them now. Yeah, they really are. It's pretty bad actually, because what did the SJW say? Oh, you know, if you private companies can do what they want. If YouTube want to ban you, too bad. Why don't you go and set up your own video sharing site if you don't like it? Well, BitChute's done it. And what do the SJWs do? They attack that. Okay, Boris and Trump return banned. There we go. I've got a few here. Okay. Hate speech says Trump exposed undeniable proof. Well, I'll check that out. But you know, I've heard that before, unfortunately. Ziggy784. Trump is a smegma slurping cuck of the Vuvids Vax Pimp Trump blah blah. The 1% are fucking you. Newsflap. Trump is in the 1% club. You guys get your flu shot from J Vaccine Company, J Chemist, Dr. Charles Lieber. Approves, so does the Sackler family. Trump's granddaughter sings beautiful Chinese, and all Trump's kids are married dual citizens Israel. Alright, there's a link here. I've got no idea what you're talking about. You're not being very coherent here. I think your point is that somehow Trump is a secret insider and not really pro-freedom. Well, you're wrong. If you check out my videos on Trump, I'll explain exactly why I think that Trump is a good guy. He's a white hat. He's on the side of freedom. And you know, what you're doing here is typical of the shill shaming. It's typical of the, oh my God, everyone's an agent. You know, everyone's a shill. If someone looks like they're not a shill, they are really. Things like that. Hang on a minute. Problem is, oh, I didn't upload. Just remember now, I didn't upload reply to comments 43 onto BitChute. It wouldn't work. So it's June the 9th. Every video after June the 9th. Okay. UFO Disclosure 2021. The Skeptics React. No comments. Boris and Trump return. Now this essay, it's on there. Oh, I've got a lot of comments on this. John Doe is a clown. No, sorry, John Doe says... Actually, John Doe is a clown. John Doe at 70. Boris Johnson... Oh, hang on. They take so long to bloody start on BitChute. It's full. BitChute is still full of bloody bugs. It's still full of technical problems. It's really annoying. Boris Johnson is a clown. He's a globalist and a great resetter. I don't trust the guy. I don't trust anyone in government. He's pushing these... Seriously, what the fuck is that all about? Well, you see, you're wrong about... Well, okay. You're right, unfortunately, about what Boris has been doing. But fake? No, he's not a fake. He's working through coercion. And as long as he's working through coercion, he can break out. Yeah. Ophiuchus 67 says, look into his new wife. She is into dark shit. Wake up. Capital letters. What, Carrie? What's she like? I don't know. Dog 619 says, the final refutation of... Okay. It's Max Egan. Right you are. Okay. Thanks for sending me that. I like Max Egan. He's cool. I mean, Carrie, I don't know much about. I don't know what you mean. Perhaps you could be more specific, but I'll look into it anyway. World Gone Mad says, Boris is in the Illuminati, as his father's book stated. He wanted to reduce global population via V, so you don't know your arse from your elbow. Right, yes. Well, firstly, I think you're wrong about the last bit. I do. This is my elbow here. And I won't show you the other bit. But his father, Stanley Johnson, funnily enough, someone else asked me about him. I think it was on... Oh, I know, it's on Odyssey. I'm going to come to that in a minute. One of the 99 says, perhaps you've not read the article from the Telegraph that Boris wrote in 2008, extolling the virtues of population control, like father, like son. Your theory about Boris is quite wrong on so many levels. I don't think... I think he's changed his place since then. I think he's changed his position since 2008. I really do. Otherwise, if he believed in what he was saying in 2008, he'd never have backed Brexit. He wouldn't. He'd want the EU in place, because the EU is where a lot of this is coming out of. Hate Speech says, yeah, this guy coming back. Don't fall for... Okay, bloody. Don't fall for it. And there's a BitChute link here, which is... There's no space between the one and the it, but I'll try it anyway. Let's have a look. What's this say? Oh, it's Q. It's Q. What is the real plan? It's from Hate Speech. All right, well, I'll sub to this guy, actually. He looks quite good. Okay. Right. That's that one done. Okay, so just one more. No, that's June the 5th. Okay. You see, I mean, there could be... The problem is with BitChute, because you don't get notification for comments. This is something that Ray needs to work on, actually. I could have comments anywhere, but to find them, I'd have to go through all my videos. I can't do that. I don't have time. I don't have time. So I just have to make do. You know, it's a shame. All right, let's go to Odyssey. And I actually know I've actually made a list. The thing is, like with Odyssey, you do get notifications, but only for 10 days. So I have to make a note. I have to watch them every 10 days and make a note of any comments I get. But I copy them as well. So, oh, by the way, yeah, Chris Mellon's tweet. What was that? I've got to bring up Chris Mellon's tweet. I'm just making notes here. There we go. Twitter, hang on. I just got to look something up. Because Chris Mellon put in an interesting tweet about something. Hang on. Got notifications. Okay. All right, here we go. Christopher. Am I following him? Yeah. Oh, I am following him. So why didn't I see this tweet earlier on? Hang on a sec. Here we go. Yeah, the UFO, this is Christopher Mellon. The UFO report is out. The implications are profound. UFOs, as we have known for a long time, are real, defy conventional explanations, and until more is learned, pose a serious potential threat to US national security. But don't just take my word for it. And there's the document there. I'm just going to retweet that, actually, because that's very interesting. All right, okay, so that's that done. Okay, Odyssey. I made a list in my notes here about what I'm doing here. Odyssey videos, Bilderberg 2013. Where the hell is that? I'll have to search for it. Hang on. Oh, why not? I'll just go here. I'll just go to the blog. Okay, it's the simplest thing to do. Okay, Odyssey. Right. Now, funny enough, Odyssey does work in the way that BitChute doesn't. Like, you upload videos and they actually upload. You press play and actually...
HPANWO, right.
Okay. Right, more. Oh, got some long comments here. This is from Snoop for Truth. Silent weapons for a quiet war hoax. The document is real, but it's only political fiction. So the hoax is not the document. The real hoax is Deborah Tavares' own fraudulent claims that the document alone provides proof. The Bilderbergs adopted a plan in 1954 to kill all of us with silent weapons in quiet wars, the furtherance of planned extinction of mankind. But her claims about this document are not so. The document is actually a literary false flag, which the civilian author made look like a leaked government document to make it look like the US government was secretly waging quiet wars against the American people using silent weapons. Lyle Hartford Van Dyke wrote this tiny 44-page booklet in 1979. Van Dyke openly admits that he modelled his work on another book of political satire entitled The Report from Iron Mountain that was written by Leonard C. Lewin in 1967. Van Dyke also admits to having incorporated portions of real scientific, economic and psychological studies into his work to make it look more realistic. Silent weapons for quiet war has nothing to do with the Bilderbergs, the Rothschilds or the Rockefellers. Proof that Van Dyke is the author. Okay, because this is a big accusation you're making. You're accusing somebody. Okay, letters from the author of Silent Weapons for a Quiet War. Dear Paranoia. All right, this is quite all right. Is there proof in this? And there's Deborah Tavares. Okay, we have... You're accusing Deborah Tavares as well. Proof that Van Dyke modelled his work on the report from Iron Mountain. He did not mention the Bilderbergers or any of the elite culprits. His work is... And proof is that he incorporated sections of real scientific research into his work to make it look more realistic. Okay, well, look, I'm going to leave you a comment. Oh, hang on, bloody hell, hang on. So I've got to get the old tag again. Okay, because I copied that BitChute link, didn't I? Okay. Now, as far as Deborah Tavares goes, I have a lot of respect for her. Okay, and are we going to go through this really ridiculous rigmarole of, oh, but she's a shill, Ben, why can't you see it? Why don't you just believe me? Why don't you just take my word for it? Deborah's not here to defend herself. Deborah's never faced any kind of tribunal. I find this sort of thing very tiresome, but I'll have a look anyway. This is a bloody forum. What's this? Proof, Deborah Tavares, more Deborah Tavares hoaxes. Oh my God. The wakehub.net. Now closed to new posts. This is from 2019. All right, I'm looking at a long forum post here that's full of red capitalizations. It's full of underlines, capitalizations, red and italics, red text. You know what this reminds me of? Sharon Kilby. Do you remember Sharon Kilby? Do you remember that my Caroline Stevens reply? This looks very much like the document by someone wrote about me, saying horrible things about me. So I hope you'll excuse me, Snoop for Truth, if I don't just take your bloody word for it when you post very long links and lots of other things here. Snoop then says, in the course of my research, I obtained extremely rare documents on silent weapons for a quiet war, which no one else has ever attained. Please click on every single attachment at the bottom of the pages. And it's this forum again. And what is it here? The hoax. It's the same link. It's Deborah Tavares. Warmest regards, Snoop. Snoop, for truth. You know, this is like, you see what there's a lot of text here, all red letters, all underlined. This is like what Sharon Kilby wrote about me. So you'll excuse me if I don't just jump immediately and say, oh my God, oh, I didn't know that, my God, it must be true. This is what Caroline Stevens did to me. I'm not going to do that to Deborah, all right? Same with Silent Weapons for a Quiet War. We don't know what bloody Silent Weapons for a Quiet War, where it came from. It was found inside a photocopier. Now we have a confession. Well, you know what I've said before about the conveniently told confession stories? Do remember, Snoop, confessions are a claim too, and confessions can be falsified. It's all right. It's okay for you providing information, but if you're going to provide these very, very long screeds of cut and paste stuff and different links and all the attachments and things like that, well, you know, where are you getting all this from? What do you think about Dave Van Dyke's own words? Oh my God, his own words. Because he wrote Silent Weapons for a Quiet War in 1979. He told you that, did he? Well, you know what? I wrote Oliver Twist in 1879. I'm actually one of the oldest men in the world, but I keep myself in shape. Do you believe me? Charles Dickens was me, you know. It was me all along. Sorry, mate. Look, you're going to have to do a bit more than this, Snoop, for truth. You're going to have to provide a bit more. I mean, all right, I'll have a look through this thing you've got here, but it's going to take me a very long time. And even at the end of the day, Deborah's not here to defend herself. This Van Dyke guy is not here to substantiate his claim at a proper tribunal in which other people get to put their points of view across. Would you, Snoop, here's a challenge for you, would you be willing to subject your hypothesis to a properly organised tribunal? I wonder. And he says here, please let me know if you need anything else, such as links to proof on the NASA war document, report from Iron Mountain, the forged PNG emails, or anything else. The thing you've got to realise about these documents, like report from Iron Mountain, like the Silent Weapons document, and indeed like the unveiling them, what's it called, the Secret Covenant, is they are very, very similar to the, I can't even say the word on YouTube. It's a similar book that was published around about the turn of the 20th century on the same subject about a secret elite and their plans to take over the world. It's something you can't even mention. It's so controversial. I think you know the one I mean. Has it occurred to you that some of these documents might be real? That they might actually be real, especially when you read things like Zbigniew Brzezinski and how he basically, if you look at Brzezinski or Henry Kissinger or these other documents, or the people who talk about depopulation today, how similar it is. Just look at the protocols of various organisations such as the Tavistock Institute, which talk about the need to control people's minds. They talk about it openly. So why does that? So now Silent Weapons for a Quiet War is fake? I'm not so sure, especially since, you made an assertion here with an awful lot, you dumped an awful lot of information on here. This is going to take me hours to get through all this. And at the end of the day, the people you're accusing are not here to defend themselves. So excuse me if I'm not over the top with enthusiasm about this. Okay, that's enough of that. Next one is... Right, the next one is... Where are we? Yeah, Ian R. Crane dies. Okay. It's easier to use the blog. Ian R. Crane dies. I'm going to leave that other one open because there's nothing. Here we go. Snoop for Truth. Again, what's this? Oh, so I'll start with Elusive here. Oh, that's from 3 months ago. Okay. This is Snoop for Truth again. He's a really good man and meant well, but he misunderstood the common law. Common law countries are dark pink-coloured countries here. See the definition of the common law in all these law dictionaries. How the common law was misunderstood. The common law is merely case law written by judges. It was once called unwritten law solely because it was not written by elected politicians and not published in statute books. That's right. It's based on legal precedent. Yeah. But this does not mean that the common law was unwritten and unpublished altogether. It was and still is. Common law was and still is written by appellate judges and is still published in court reporters, not statute or code books. But legal outsiders do not know this. They mistakenly believe that the common law was never written in the first place, and that it has been replaced by modern written law. But this is not so. Common law is written law, and is still the single most commonly used form of law in the United States and in many other countries that were once parts of the British Empire, including Australia and New Zealand. All of the courts in all of these countries are common law courts, and all of them still use and still follow the common law. Common law is still being made, written and published every single day all over the globe. Read the entire post here. There's a link here. What's this? Gold is money. Premium gold and silver discussion. Oh, right, this is about the gold standard and about things. Maybe it's about Premier Gold and Silver Discussion Forum. Right, there's another document here with lots of bold letters, lots of red. There's an awful lot here, Snoop for Truth. But, you know, again, it's something that I'm very interested in. I must admit, I'm interested in this. If Ian made a mistake, you know, Ian was not perfect. I had my disagreements with him. So be it. But thanks for the information. Again, it is open to I'm not saying it's absolutely 100% correct. Okay, Ian R. Crane Memorial Livestream on Odyssey. Snoop for Truth. Ian R. Crane, may Ian R. Crane rest in peace for all the good he did while he was alive. Crane was mistaken about common law. Okay, and he's actually just repeats the comment he made before, he or she. Thanks, Snoop for Truth. Yeah. Oh, I'm not. What can't pop? What do you mean? Unable to create comment. Oh, I know. I just add another dot to it there, and that's it. Thanks, Snoop for Truth. Much appreciated. He was a great man. Next video: Boris and Trump return. Okay. Okay, Odyssey. This is the one that's banned from YouTube. Here we go. Ziggy781. Oh, he's just basically... Okay. Ziggy is simply repeating the comment. This is the same person who wrote a comment on BitChute. It's just repeating it again. I reply again. It's all kind of loads of rhetoric here about how Trump is just an insider. He's not really a freedom fighter, and etc. etc. He's working for various organizations. No. Don't have vids. I stop at 4:03 the day. You are one of the best. May the best of the gods be with us all. Good work. Well, thank you very much. Much appreciated. Don't have vids. Oh, sorry, that was 17 days ago. Okay. And the real IRA, thank you, bro. All right. You're welcome. You know where you're going to love the real Irish abroad, thank you. All right. You know where you're going love you from the real Irish abroad, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. I didn't understand all that, but you're welcome. Oops. Need another dot on there. Okay, you okay, bro? Greets from the prison Europe. Love you. Oh, thanks. Don't hate the vids. Oh, don't have vids. Okay, so now where are we now? Next one. Now there's a few notes I've got here. Now I don't know where these actually fit in. Oh right, yes, this is on the. These are some. Luckily, I managed to rescue some of the comments from the banned Boris and Trump video on YouTube before, because I got sent email notifications. Not for all of them, but I got for some of them. Pierre Robertson says, surely Boris is just playing the role of PM, and why doesn't he sort his hair out and look sharp? Well, he could be. He's playing a role right now. Yes, I wish he wasn't. Snarlock, what do you think of Boris's father, Stanley Johnson? I want to read that book, because apparently there's a lot of information in there about like eugenics and things like that, and psycho warfare. John Nolan, Heath liked little boys. He did, didn't he, the tosser? Okay, oh right, live stream notice. I forgot. This is the live stream notice for the referendum. I didn't ask. I actually saved the comments because I then deleted it because I didn't bring it up in the live stream, did I? Diego Vera, Brexit is a fraud. The World Economic Forum runs the UK, and Boris Johnson. All right. Sarah A. My son made a very, very nice cake for his brother, just so you know. Well, that's good, Sarah. Hatchy Hatchy. It's time to go Boy Scout and be prepared. Hatchy Hatchy. From a little shed in Hampshire, Ben. With you awaiting the woo. Autumn time this year might be explosive. I'm praying I'm wrong, 1984. The jackboot is about to get lead weights. Not a good time historically. 1930s flashback is on its way, mate. Love and respect. Thank Hatchie. You know, I'm thinking autumn, possibly. August could be when Trump makes a comeback. A lot of people have said that. Hatchie says here, no worries, my friend. I've been sat back since 1998 and are waiting events unfold. Jim Mars, RIP, 2008. He told us in 2018. He told us in 2012, lol. It's here, my friend. Love you on KBS. Take care. Thanks very much. And glad you like the Kev Baker show. I've been, 1998 was when I started getting involved in this, Hatchie, definitely. Hatchie also says here, a reflection upon thought from your show tonight. George Carlin, the big club, and we ain't in it. Yeah, great guy, George Carlin, wasn't he? Mr. Hospital Reporter. Sir, between now and Christmas looks very interesting. You take care. They don't like free thinking. Love and respect. And woof from me hound. Oh, say, give him a pat on the head from me, mate. Give me a pat on the head. Okay. So we go now to, for the first time ever, how much time have I got left in this third hour? Let's have a look. Oh, 2 minutes remaining. All right. It's going to go just over 3 hours, I think. Yeah, here we go. Rumble. Let's have a look at my content. Well, I've only got one video uploaded. I don't exactly know how this works, so in terms of Rumble, you do get notifications, actually, on here. Where is it? Where are my notifications? I don't know how. I'm new to Rumble, but anyway, Rumble. Or maybe it was brand new tube. I don't know. Lalski says, found ya. I said, thank you very much. Good to see you. Bobodet says, put your YouTube videos here so we can watch them on this platform, please. And I said, will do. Yeah, I'm going to copy. I don't know exactly what the capacity is or things like that. Rumble's all right. I've got to wait for a bit. Okay, I've got to wait now. Brimmy, good luck, Ben. Wishing you as always, Philip. Okay, I'm about to change those to 4th hour actually, because there's one thing that Rumble does do. It doesn't let you. Upload too many. Post too many comments at once. You have to have a 30-second gap between them. So I think I'll go back and I'll change this to the 4th hour. I'm not going to pause. I might as well just go all the way through, because I'm nearly done now. Still recording. Yep, still recording nicely. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that worked. Okay. And Brimmy44 says, good luck, Ben. Wishing you well as always. Okay, I'm going to have to put the comment in and pause for a minute while I go over to brand YouTube. Now, let's have a look. Import, upload. Here we go. All right, you do get a no messages. I'll get the hang of this at some point. Notifications. Brand new tube. All right, I'm getting notifications from my subs. I've already subbed to Vernon Coleman and Sonia Poulton and several other people. I'll just go to my uploads then, shall I? My articles, video studio. Oh, that's the end of that one. Okay, no worries. I'm on 4th hour now, so that's all right. Don't need my. It's not going to go to a 5th hour, so unless there's a million comments on Rumble, which is not likely. So, okay. So how do I do this? GoPro subscriptions, playlist history, like video, video studios. Let's go to video studio and see what happens. It's a bit slow, isn't it? I'll tell you what, while it's doing that, I'll just post the Rumble comment. Oh, looks like you posted this comment before. All right, so you can't repeat comments. Okay, there you go. Oh, right, it's nothing. It's a bit slow, actually. Brand new tube. I've only got one video on there. Oh, I'll go to home. Hang on. This is tricky, and this is bloody. Hang on, I'll just reopen the page. Brand new tube. See, I love these alt texts, but they just like are really. Come on. Now nothing's happening. Oh, hang on. Oh, something did happen. Hang on. I'll start again. Brand new tube. Click. Wait. And there we are. Okay. I'll just search for my channel. There we go. HPANWO TV on brand new tube. There we are. Right. Oh, I found the. I just got to pause. I click it. Wait. And here it is. Okay. So Cosmic Claire. Oh, hello, Cosmic. How are you? The spam bots have already invaded the comment section. I know. Yeah. Oh, where do I? I can't. Oh, I can't reply. Why can't I reply? I think maybe there's a time limit on replying. Yeah. But anyway, Cosmic Claire says, Cosmic Claire, of course you know very well. I'm sure if you watch regularly, she's on YouTube. The spam bots have invaded my comments. Yeah. Odin Hunt, hello Odin, thanks for joining. Okay, I've put text comments in here anyway, so I'm not gonna put any notices. But thanks for joining us over here, Odin Wild Hunt. Much appreciated. Mrs. Spillane, I remember you. You do loads about moon landing hoaxes. I hope you'll bring some of that work here. And I said, hi Mrs. Spillane, thanks for commenting. My first non-spam comment ever. I'll be glad to. And we have here Ray Sherwin, who's advertising his channel, My Popular Music. And I said, thanks for the link, Ray. Show more. What's there? No more comments found. Oh, because that's Rumble and brand YouTube. I'll have to start uploading some more to those videos. I don't know whether they'll let you actually upload loads and loads and loads. I'll just refresh. We're nearly done now. Just refresh YouTube now. Oh, good. There's a lot here. There's a lot. I'll tell you what. I'll go to. It's easier just to go to notifications. Okay. I'll go scroll down. Where am I now? 3 hours ago. GB News, brief history of Metairie. All right. Patrick Patel says, love it. I do anything to do with UFOs. Thanks. Oh, you're welcome. I will put a notice in that. You're welcome, Patrick. Patrick Patel says also on UAPTF, those C-word jabs, they're giving us probably a tracking device for the Project Bluebeam scenario, machines like in War, the world movie to come, the Zap, the J, who knows. Patrick, I don't know if that's true about the... See, tracking devices, it's unlikely, actually. I think there's a purpose behind the Vs, which is biological warfare. But tracking devices for Bluebeam, no. I've not seen any evidence for that, I'm afraid. Right, this is Roswell. This is the Roswell incident. Okay. Chopper Kicksport. Okay, this is an old video, very important one though. The initial impact site at Thieves Wood has since been fenced and turned into marshland. The trees in this area are visibly different in terms of age and size. There are a number of damaged old trees still there, which were not cleared out by the military. The interesting thing is that nowhere else within the Thieves Wood the area has been fenced off and turned into marshland. It sounds like somebody's trying to hide something. I think so too, Chopper. I mean, I interviewed Christian Lander about this. Now, he's a local paranormal researcher who's been looking into this, and what he has to say is pretty interesting. Now, I think he's made a mistake on the causal effect of the... He's made a mistake about the causal nature of the incident. However, he has made a lot of discoveries. He's worked very hard on this. Nigel Phillips says, Ben, I'm blocked on Facebook all the time, but in but in weekly chunks they hate the truth. Oh dear. Yeah, you'll get a love heart for that. Only the best are... Oops, what happened there? Oh, sorry. Only the best are blocked, mate. Only the best are blocked. Okay, where are we going now? Sorenable says on Pentach, I can't wait for mumbling, and this is an hour ago. Oh, he's actually... what's he said here? I think Sorenable has repeated the comment he made about the Travis Walton case, which is cool. Yeah, I can't wait either, Sorenable. It'll be fun. Hey, guys, let's go to channel comments. Okay. I'm just going to refresh YouTube one more time. Nope, nothing there. So This is amazing. This is just over 3 hours long. It's one of the shortest comments reply videos I've ever done. But I appreciate all of you for watching. I really do, and I appreciate all of you for the comments you've made. Even some of the rude ones were quite amusing. I will keep you posted. It may be a few days before there's another video because I've got a lot to do this week. I'm preparing for my talks. Even though the Awaken Aware conference has been moved back from this weekend to an evening event on the 22nd and 23rd, I've still got to talk. Still got to do my talk for Miles. I've got to do my radio show. So there may not be another video for me for a few days, but it'll probably take you that long to watch this one, won't it? But thank you all of you for all your comments that you make. It's a pleasure to interact with you guys. And for you to take part in the live stream as well. Much appreciated. There will be another comments reply videos again pretty soon, and more as well. I will be taking my camera with me when I go away, and hope to get some really, really good footage for you. And I'm recording my lectures, of course, as well, so if possible. Looking forward to that immensely. So thank you all of you for watching HPANWO TV. Hospital Porter's Pride and Dignity. Stop the New World Order.